Well, good morning. Welcome back to Newcastle Motorsports Park. You're just a stone's throw from Indianapolis, Indiana. Round number one of the Midwest Division for the Apex Karting Championship. Alongside Brett Baldeck, I'm Jackson Lambros. Stoked to have you with us here all weekend long on Kart Chaser. Brett, we're seeing the sun. We have not been used to this at all this weekend. It's a beautiful day for some pre-final and final action.
Yeah, I checked the radar just to make sure this morning, and we have no rain in the area, so dry track all day today. So we'll see how it all plays out for these drivers.
By settles on pole in the 469 for the main event. He's your main heat winner here going back to back. Jamie Bradford in the 428 be alongside him. Levi Wilbur, Brant Estes. Brant doing double duty. Further on today in the 435, Todd Davis in the 407 will be alongside Paul McElroy for row number 3. Kevin Simonellic and Buddy Daly make up row number 4. Chris Ashcraft and Alan Elwood, your top 10. They've got to slow up big time here as we work our way into the 90s and get to the commitment code. AJ Roderick getting behind the wheel of the number 11, J. Brian Williams, and the 12, Sean Kennedy in the 13, and Tim Schutt rounds out our field of 14. We certainly do have a handful of additional drivers who we did not see at the start of yesterday's festivities. Handful of the older guys wanted to take Saturday off, whether it was just working in the tent, not risking running in the rain. But we've got a full field of 14 here, ready to bring us to the green for the first time. An additional minute after our heats yesterday. We'll go for 8 minutes plus 2 laps. 5 pre-finals before the main events. Coming up in about 90 minutes. Ready to get this party started. Settles and Bradford on the front row to the punch-off cone. We've got the green flag. We're going to go racing into 06 Masters. Watch that. Coyote settles down low in the 469. A little bit of a set further back from Estes into I-70 for the first time. Now that Pantano, the 457, a Schutt trying to make moves. I think nearly 3 wide earlier on. Bradford gonna immediately bring the side pod in and get, I believe, that stealth to the front. One spinner further back, the 475. J. Brian Williams through the shark fin. But we are up and away, and we continue to battle. Settle swinging back now into scoreboard for the maiden time. They'll still go 2 abreast. Jamie Bradford trying to get the nose just barely ahead, and we'll get so as we work our way back through the second shark fin.
Yeah, they're not wasting any time mixing it up this morning, but Bradford and Meadow were the favorites yesterday, but they continue to dice it up here and change positions for the top 3 as they're 2 wide into this corner here. We'll see if it comes out cleanly. They let each other go. Nice move there early on in this race. We still have the pre-final and the final, and they're going to go for the lead here.
Into the 90s for the first time. It will indeed be Jamie Bradford swinging back to take the lead behind the wheel of the 469. But very quickly here, I mean, you go back now to P6 in the form of Buddy Daly, who gets 2 positions in the whole shot. Top of that, Tim Schutt getting 7 as well. Great start further back, just getting to the picture there behind the wheel of that Pantano. Jamie Bradford still your leader, now becoming a 3-car breakaway. Settles and Wilbur going with it. Wilbur setting it to the inside of the shark fin. Now we'll take P2. That Coyote drops back to P3.
Yeah, it's nice to see with these dry conditions the moves that they're able to make. I mean, this is not what we saw at this time just 24 hours ago with all of the rooster tails. So again, no issues for rain today. So these guys are able to go flat out, give it their all, I should say, for this race. We can see that Jamie Bradford has a slight lead there as they continue to mix it up for second, third, and fourth.
God forbid, actually, the first time it feels like maybe we have some of this MG rubber actually being laid down on the track this weekend. And considering we were even combating with on and off showers on Friday, these guys were trying to make this track come to life, help bring those lap times down. Mother Nature just kept hitting the reset button for these guys, but after warm-up this morning and a healthy amount of wheel-to-wheel action yesterday, could hopefully finally see those lap times start to come down. Fastest lap now, Sean Kennedy for the back of the 498 in P9. Just see him come into view back of your picture there. They tried to make a move on Timothy Shutt, the 457. That was just off screen. We'll keep it on this three-way battle here, though. Levi Wilbur, Clay Settles, and Alan Elwood. Six positions gained there in the 405 further back, trying to make it a couple more here, making a move on Settles and Wilbur.
Yeah, great moves early on by Elwood, and of course, he would obviously want to get up to at least second position, if not first, but he's great driving this morning, able to get into that battle, as you mentioned, up 6 positions. Looks like they are going to a single file right now. I mean, it's still early on in this race, so no use to start mixing up. Maybe if they stay in line, they'll be able to close that gap between second place and first place of Jamie Bradford. So we'll see what these drivers decide to do early on here in this event. Again, first of many races we have this morning. I believe 10 events this morning. Then we'll take our lunch break and then go back racing again this afternoon.
Exact same order. Obviously, just no single car or time trial events this morning. So again, pre-finals, 5 of those. Quick breather. And the main events for the Briggs will jump over after lunch and go over to the two-stroke stuff with the IAME KA100 and Mini and Micro Swift pre-finals and main events later on this afternoon. The mission is clear for the 406 of Levi Wilbur to try and lead these two to slowly but surely close this gap to Jamie Bradford out in front. New purple lap, AJ Roderick in P6, 123.099. That's 0.3 quicker than the group you're seeing on screen right now. We're going to sound like a broken record with how much we talk about this. But again, at what point does Clay and Allen just behind here in third and fourth run out of patience? They don't really have an opportunity to strike just yet. They could more than likely believe they could be the quickest ones and try and lead that little triplet of carts. Try and close that gap to Jamie Bradford. About 0.8, just the limit of where you see that draft come into effect. They'll be pedaling to try and get just a little bit closer. They can stretch the legs. Have Jamie Bradford punch a hole in the air for him. Purple lap now, Clay Settles. 122.938. First lap time we've seen in the 22s. Got the pace. He's trying to find the space now to make a move on Wilbur.
Yeah, I will say that they stayed in line for those 2 laps, but they weren't really able to close the gap that much on Jamie Bradford. So obviously a strong kart under him, and now it's just Wilbur and Settles, because it looks like Elwood has dropped off the back of this pack. So if these two want to try and catch that leader, it looks like they've cut the gap just slightly. But like I said, Bradford showing some strength early on here this morning, able to pull away from these drivers on his own.
Crucially, Wilbur and Settle starting to break away now from Alan Elwood. Not a lot of fighting back, though. Not a lot of overdriving from the 405. A little bit more patience than we might have expected here from Settles behind the wheel of that 469 Coyote. Again, this finishing order of the pre-final, that'll set the order for the main event. The last thing you want to do is get over ambitious here in the closing laps. How badly do you want to risk, gaining a couple of grid spots for the main event in a, in a class that is so wheel-to-wheel dependent, that is so bumper-to-bumper dependent, where so many drivers could have a mix? Do you really roll the dice on making, one position here when, the contrary is getting in big trouble and then getting sent to the back of the grid because you make contact, because you go off? You could also make the argument right now, Settles might be where he wants to be at the drop of the checkered flag. Obviously not getting as many points championship-wise as the guys in front of him. But Brett, I mean, we turned back the clock to yesterday. It felt like, if anything, if you aren't in P1, you almost want to be the guy in P3, giving that shove to the guy in front.
Yesterday we saw the dominant line was the one led by the first place starter. And also yesterday you were talking about you don't want to make any mistakes. We saw a few times in the divisions yesterday, drivers go off on the final lap and just drop a number of positions. So as you mentioned, you don't want to do that today. I was going to say, it looked like Wilbur and Settles found something. They're able to cut down that gap slightly, but then Bradford's able to gap them once again through some of these tight corners in the infield section. But you see right there, they're able to really close the gap, and now they're right on his bumper.
Here we go. Wilbur and Settles turning the wick up here as the Twin Sticks coming out this time by. Who's going to be on pole for the main event in 206 Masters? How badly do these guys behind want to make a move? Settles is thinking about it. He's using the bumper all over that 406 in front of him. Further back, you see Elwood drop. That'll become a battle with AJ Roderick. John Kennedy, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Shallow exit there for Wilbur, trying to find some momentum on exit there. We work our way through Cell Tower to the double lefts. Now up and over the hill towards the green corner. Again, not a scary part of the corner per se, but you're going up and over the hill, right into a braking zone in a flick. It unloads the cart, immediately loads it back up again. At full song, when you're surrounded by a handful of go-karts. Not as high pressure now. That'll definitely be someplace where we have seen a couple of guys go off, dropping tires. Could be a hot spot later on in the main event. Bradford able to get a little bit more of a cushion one more time now. Through the 90s, Wilbur looking very strong right now, keeping that wheel as open as possible, rolling that momentum. Obviously getting plenty of help from that Coyote behind. Shoving his way to the rear bumper of Jamie Bradford. White flag is out. 2 systems to 3 here. Bradford trying to give a shove to Wilbur to make that move. They'll stay single file coming down I-70.
Yeah, they definitely are not close enough right now, and I'm interested to see, you know, you're mentioning, do you just kind of stay in line for this pre-final? I'm interested to see just how intense the racing is going to be a little bit later on this morning. We do get into that final section. I'm sure they would not stay in line like this if this was the final, but again, they're still not close enough. They are able to close the gap that last lap, but then I think Bradford's able to turn up the wick sometimes in this infield section, and you can see now the gap is, I think, the largest it's been in the last 2 laps. So perfect last lap here for Bradford just to get through the final corner.
Curious to see where we're losing time right now, because your entire field was running 22s, now comfortably running in the low 23s. Sure, we've still got plenty of grip left in these MG tires, but maybe these 206s, for the first time this weekend, struggling with heat. Now with that big ball of gas in the sky, doing a little bit extra to heat them up. Out of the 90s for the final time, 15 into 16. Wilbur Settles going to try to maybe make a run for it. Pop out for Wilbur, not going to get there in time. Jamie Bradford on pole position for the main event coming up. Levi Wilbur will be alongside him on the front row. Clay Settles, AJ Roderick, John Kennedy round out your top 5. Good battling there, Brett.
Yeah, they tried something on that last corner there. I'm sure maybe that was a little bit of a test to see how that could work when they make it to the final, if that's to come to fruition. We've seen it happen a couple times this weekend already. Those final corners, they can really set up some great passes.
We're on our way. Pre-final and final Sunday. Glad you're with us. Step aside for just a moment. It's Briggs Micro coming up from Indy.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Look at this Kyle Cuthbertson. Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
First pre-final for the cadets take to the track here, as it'll be 2:06 micro getting ready for 8 minutes and 2 laps of their pre-final. We don't even need to see the graphic. We know who's on pole. We watched yesterday. James Fox gonna be on pole behind the wheel of that 212 top cart. He was tough to beat yesterday, Brett.
Yeah, we were talking though. I was curious if he is still going to have that same dominance with different track conditions. Totally dry, everyone on the same playing field now. Interested to see how this plays out in this event.
TJ Akers alongside him on the front row in that Zebra 254. Remy Boss in the 288 will be in third. Clyde Coleman in at P4. Then it's Jackson Sloan in the 218. Wyatt Burleson in the 221. Kart Republic. Toby Blue and Jude Boss round out row number 4. With Sam Robinson, Harrison Fitcher rounding out your top 10. Again, very healthy field right now for our cadets. So much so we're able to split it into the what's conventionally the cadet and sportsman. We call it micro and mini around these parts. Same slides, same power restrictions, same age group. Again, just going under that uniform name so that the micro kids doing double duty are able to go class to class. Make it easy for them. Same, of course, for the mini drivers that'll be coming up later after seniors. It is a GFC for TJ Akers. That and a top cart on the front row. We've got the clock started. They'll get to the cones. They'll take the green flag in 2:06 micro. Ooh, best start we've seen in a minute for the outside row. If it wasn't for the big shove of Boss, I was gonna say that was a great start for Remy Boss.
Oh no.
He ramped up and we got more carnage. Burlesman around. And I think Sloan got collected as well as the 290. Toby Blue, 3 carts already out here in our 2:06 micro pre-final.
What a disastrous start. I mean, but we've seen it all weekend in a lot of these divisions. Turn 1, lap 1. Just so many carts trying to funnel down into the corner. But James Fox, TJ Akers able to escape the carnage, and now they have a healthy lead. But James Fox is able to gap early on here. I think yesterday he already gapped it by at least a second. But here's TJ Akers keeping him honest there. I believe that is TJ Akers. Yes. No.
Remy Boss.
We'll get our rundown when
288.
they come back through.
Tell you what, they make it easy for us in the booth. Mom and Dad have done a very good job. That Boss Racing highlighter orange. Something I didn't necessarily notice here. The lips of the rims, very outer rims. I haven't seen a lot of like different painting schemes like that, but the outside actually painted orange as well. Here we go. First move for the lead we have seen all weekend long in 2:06 micro, and a new leader in the run into I-70. Remy Boss taking the lead away from James Fox. A statement that after yesterday seemed damn near impossible for us to tell you guys, but a new leader for the first time in micro.
So my thoughts are, did the other drivers make changes to their carts, or is this just an equal playing field now because of the beautiful conditions we have in Newcastle this morning? But what a great race we're seeing early on. I really thought, based on yesterday, James Fox would go away with this. But now look at Remy Boss able to gap James Fox by at least 2 to 3 cart lengths here down this straightaway.
Still not out of the woods yet. Really good closure on braking there. Into turn number 11 as we head into Cell Tower. As really the technical stuff has been the specialty of Fox throughout yesterday. You could argue that's how he was able to get a breakaway. Thanks to the weather, the very low grip out on track. And a guy who's a club racer here, who's had a handful of seasons under his belt in Kid Kart, just moving up to Cadet not too long ago, is more than comfortable working his way around here. He's going to have a phenomenal run out of turn 16 and will not look to the inside. Will actually give a little bit of bumper here to Remy Boss into I-70. They'll build a little bit of insurance. They don't necessarily need it. We're just, what, 4, or not even 4, 2.5, 3 minutes in now. Look at that gap on the left-hand side of your screen. 8.5 seconds. Remy Boss, James Fox in a league of their own. check in with them
I
later
believe
on
there was
further back.
There was a little bit of contact there before we changed the cameras over, but you mentioned a little bit on back. So TJ Akers started second. He's back to 8th, so he must have been involved in that mess that we saw in turn 1. And as you mentioned, these guys are back, 10 seconds, and then 10th and 11th are back 22 seconds. So field is spread out after what we saw on that first lap.
Regardless, with the drying track, definitely. This is the 206 micro we are very much used to. Look to the inside from the 54. Akers not able to make that move on Robinson just yet. Paired GFCs and the Red Bull replica of Fischer just behind. And being told, our producers were indeed able to see a spin from TJ. I want to say either I-70 or the shark fin. It was off camera though. Regardless, that'll be the reset button for the GFC pilot. Already making a couple moves here, passing that Red Bull and the fellow GFC. His brother Jude doing a good job holding these guys to the point as we're halfway home in the pre-final. Good run here for TJ Akers. A lot of these guys really putting their head against the steering wheel like we see some of the bigger kids do. We have seen how effective that can actually be, especially these draft-dependent, these aero-dependent classes. Look at this around the outside. TJ Akers lunging it in the 254, gets that move done, and will now get another. Jude Boss, Rep Blue, no problem. P4 for TJ Akers.
I think we are seeing why TJ Akers was starting second position during that race, because he has a strong kart, but you just saw him pass Rep Blue. Rep Blue started last, and he was up to 4th, so he was able to take advantage of some of the trouble that we saw early on, but they continue to sort things out back here, back in the pack. But here is the battle for the lead.
Ooh.
These two are still on top of each other, Remy Boss and James Fox.
Good stuff no matter where you're looking right now. These are the battles we have been looking for in 206 Micro. Looks like Fox trying to make a move there through the 90s. Remy holding that top cart to a T. 2 minutes and just over 2 minutes on the clock now. Boss fending off Fox. Better part of about 5 minutes now. And for the first time, the motorcycle stuff. James Fox has to get to work. Get to the bumper of Boss. Find a way through. We missed it a little bit further back. Good stuff as well. Wyatt Brolsman had that Kart Republic, the 221, come to life. Made a move on Harrison Fischer, Sam Robinson. And that will probably be a mid-pack battle we'll check in with once again as well. But no matter where you look, wheel-to-wheel action, bumper-to-bumper action here in 206.
Yeah, no issues for these two leaders up front if they decide to start mixing it up, because last time by they had a 12.5-second lead over third place of Clyde Kelman, and you can see back in the pack here, this is the battle for, I believe, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Red Blue is up there, that 299. Again, he's the one that started 11th and last on the field. Now he's up to 5th. So good job early on in this race. You can see now that would be Jude Boss and Wyatt Burlesman battling it here, and you can see they are going to go side by side through that corner there.
Brolsman got 2 positions. Last lap will pick up another now. Run on Jude Boss. Something has certainly been found behind the wheel of that Kart Republic. Good run further back. Toby Blue at 290. Very similar to the Rollison Performance Group colors we're used to here on the West Coast. Ooh, late move there on Sam Robinson in the 288. That was gutsy. Look at this, another move for the lead out in front. James Fox, I believe, getting to the point over Remy Boss in the top cart. And just further back, this 4-cart freight train continuing to develop. Jude Boss, Sam Robinson, Harrison Fischer, and Toby Blue. But out in front, timer has hit 0. It'll be twin sticks this time by. Remy found a way by with about 2 minutes through. We'll have to do it again with the twin sticks coming out this time by.
Yeah, James Fox picking up where he left off yesterday, easily getting those wins. It's not as easy today. He has not been used to having to actually battle another driver when he's been out front, but Remy Boss is right there keeping him honest throughout this race. As we just got the 2 laps to go, it looks like Remy Boss is going to go look on the inside, and James Fox nicely lets him go, doesn't want to battle there early on, and now James Fox takes the lead back away. So some great racing by these two up front as we have 2 laps to go.
Drove it maybe a little bit too deep there into I-70. And while gathering it back up, gave Fox the opportunity to mosey on back for the lead. Again, we talk about the Indy 500 timing, I think, is the best way to put it here in these categories, right? Taking the lead. If you want to be the guy in first at the end of the session, being able to make that move for the pass with just enough time where you can obviously get the move done, but not give the other guy a chance to swing back. The question is, at this point in the racetrack, where are your options? Normally, when we run this direction, and again, it's about 50-50 depending on how we run here, clockwise, counterclockwise. But what normally becomes a place for biblical sense into the left-hander of turn number 1 into the 90s suddenly becomes a very momentum-based part of the racetrack you're seeing right here. You can set up a run, you can cross over on exit here on 16, but as we have seen, it is difficult to get a run. We only really saw it in Mini and Micro last time. Move to the lead once again. Remy Boss fully clear into I-70. Fox not going to fight it. Orange Dream Machine back to the lead.
Yeah, smart racing by both Remy Boss and James Fox. They're swapping the lead back and forth, but they're not banging tires. They're not really scrubbing any speed. They're letting each other go. I think they know, you save that type of racing probably for that 12-minute final. But it's possible we could see someone dethrone James Fox here for the first time in this division this weekend.
No bones about it. This is going to be your duel for the lead for 12 minutes and change later on. We get to the final. But who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be on the inside of row number 1? 12 and 13. One more time. Double left-hander. Open it up on exit. Through the short chute into the 90s. Fox looking to the inside. Gets the overlap. Boss not going to fight him just yet. They'll stay side by side. Boss going into the grass just a smidge. Will kick dirt up. Overdrives it big time. Now goes fully off.
No.
Swap ends. Turn 14. Jude Boss's racer. Remy's race goes up in flames. James Fox
he
on
recovered.
pole. Remy able to gather it back up. And will hold on to P2. My goodness.
That is the advantage of having such a huge lead. I think they had a 21-second gap over third place. He was able to go off the racetrack and I think completely turn it around and then get back on and still finish in second place. But wow, that was just for the pre-final. I am so excited to see this micro final coming up in a little bit here this morning.
Keep the insurance. Keep pushing the guy
I
in
think
front
something
of you.
happened also to
He's
TJ
building that
Akers
gap
on that final lap.
Ooh. Possibly dropped a handful of spots. And unfortunately, he'll have to make that drive from P7 for the main event. Your moral of the Briggs Micro Final: even if you think you have a gap, continue to push the guy in front of you. Continue to build, because you might do stuff like that. We have got 40 karts in 2016. You're coming your way right after that. Do not close that tab. Round number 1 of the Midwest Division.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kartsim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kartsim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
Forty of the best in the Midwest ready to go to war here for the senior pre-final. Sam Tutwiler on pole position will be alongside Chris McKeithen on row number 1. Addison Iannello and Mason Surgener just behind Adam Kay. Alex Acusio on row 3. Emily DeMaster, Henry Wheeler with Levi Getz, Sawyer St. Clair rounding out your top 10. A lot of guys making really big moves yesterday. If you got pace, you've made moves overnight in the tent, you got to make it right now. You got to charge forward. Give yourself as big of a starting position, or I guess as small of a starting position as possible here for the main event.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all these karts out on the racetrack at one time. Such a huge division with so many drivers coming out here to Newcastle Motorsports Park. As you can see, here is our second page: Holden Harder, Will Wilk, Mark Steele, Clay O'Brien, Ryan Rhea, Ryan Curl, Brady Eckhoff, Connor Holes, Jerry Vandre, and Michael Taylor round out the top 20.
We'll try and speed through it here because, again, there are many. Ryan Sakina in the 996 is 22nd. Aiden Lorenko way further back than we would have thought. You could say the same for Carter Kilgo. Colton Kelly, Landon Ashcraft, Jack Sutton, Brandon Bazinski, and Nishika Yoshikawa getting into some trouble yesterday. He's 28th. Nolan Holiday, Beckham Lewis is in 30th. We're almost there. Almost ready to bring us to the green here. Jack Sakina, Nick Kiefer, Brandon Hutches, Keelan Weiss, Leighton Mole, Scott Kelman, Cam Burris, Owen Mel, and Randall Potter. Round out your field of 39 karters. A sold-out show here. Ready to go racing for 8 minutes and change. We didn't get the opportunity to see full dry running early on in this category. How's it going to work? Can anyone end King Tut's dominance? Let's find out. Let's go racing for the pre-final in 2:06 senior. We are dead even. We'll run into I-70. McKeithen going to try and hold it on the outside of the Coyote. He'll slot in. One kart off. Big time, the 924. Who is that going off? O'Brien in the 924. Big lunge there for McKeithen. Will take the lead coming out of the shark fin. Jerry Fandery further back, the green and white EB kart charging in the field, trying to get into the top 10 as well. But the fight is on. McKeithen up and away over the hill.
We talked about it yesterday. This is the time to make your moves as all the karts are packed up together, all 39 of them basically within just a couple of seconds of each other. And the leaders looks like they've gotten sorted out. As they continue, you can see just this long line of karts. Everyone trying to make moves early on, get the best starting position they can get as we head into the final.
Jerry Fandery further back, and I believe Holden Harder there in the 975 trying to charge forward and get a snowball pack going, trying to catch Christopher McKeithen. Coyote Stealth, and then I believe a Burrell in P3. Well, technically Stealth being a Burrell. Not think about that too much. First Green flag lap underway. McKeithen going to be the first to the paint. Sam Tutwiler, Mason Surgener with Henry Wheeler now further behind again. Wheeler jumping out of the Porsche Cup car, getting back behind the wheel of that Steel Burrell Art. Making it a 4-kart breakaway, not by much though. You've got Alex Acusio, Sawyer St. Clair, Emily DeMaster just behind. It is a mothball out in front right now as we work our way back through scoreboard. And again, now comes the waiting game. How long do you want to stick behind the rear bumper of Christopher McKeithen? How badly do these guys behind want to be on pole for the main event, Brett?
I mean, you mentioned it. What a huge line of carts here. It looks like Tutwiler's going to make the move right now. It feels like maybe McKeithen was slowing him up a little bit. Maybe that's why there were so many carts jammed up behind them. So Tutwiler back to the lead, but look at the mess behind. I mean, they are just covered up early on in this event. This is what we were expecting to see all weekend, but I think the rain yesterday definitely played a factor in the racing that we were able to see yesterday compared to what we were seeing today in these dry conditions.
Henry Wheeler advancing up into P3 will drop Addison Iannello down to 4th now. Mason Surgener dropping all the way down to P5 as a result. Everybody going defensive now. McKeithen with the lunge. Wheeler going to push him on through. Tutwiler not going to fight it. Slots back in P4. Iannello out of the air groove now. Has nowhere to go. Back into the shark fin. Surgener now offline. Will get forced through by Iannello. 2x2 further back. 1 kart further off. Mason Surgener in the 945 going for an expedition. A little bit of a wheel-to-wheel contact there. Coming out of the shark fin. It was for sure one of the Burrells. I think it might have been Surgener. Regardless, that's 1 kart down. You look back now. Mark Steele, Will Wilkie, Levi Getz, Holden Harder, all the way back to P12. Still anyone's game right now. Now becoming a 3-kart breakaway again. Tutwiler, McKeithen, and Wheeler.
Yeah, like I said, totally different than what we saw yesterday. 1st through 12. I mean, you get out of line here, you could go all the way back to 12th. So you definitely want to make sure you're staying in line. And if you do get shuffled out, try to kind of muscle your way back in. But there's the top 3. Nicely organized, Tutwiler, McKeithen, Wheeler. Maybe they're trying to put a little bit of a gap between the rest of the field because they are just all in a line, all heads up racing. Everyone looks like they're on an even playing field this morning, but you saw what can happen. You can touch wheels and definitely ruin your pre-final. You want to get, as we mentioned, best finish possible here so you can have maybe an easier start to the final in about 30 minutes.
Was Coolio going for a little bit of hang time right here coming out of I-70. He has kept going though, as we'll try and figure out where he's ended up on track. Fastest lap, Jerry Fandry in the 944 TB. Bit of a move further back, 334. Mark Steele. How about this? 8 positions gained for the Steele Motorsports showrunner, working his way from P13 up to P5. The old guy able to turn and burn with these young guns. So many just moving up from junior. And you want to talk about decades of experience at the very top of grassroots karting at the club and regional level. That man behind the wheel of the 934 keeps finding ways to get in the go-kart in ways he's admitted he's not necessarily fought for. Everybody in that tent knows he's a wheelman, wants him to drive 2 karts off further back. I think Emily DeMaster, Will Wilkie going for an excursion. I'll give Steele another opportunity to lunge further forward, as that was the 945 it looks to be. Mason Surgener going offline and off course.
I think we saw the same thing from Mark Steele yesterday. He started well in the back and was able to, I think, gain over a dozen positions. So he's picking up right where he left off yesterday. And he could be a factor here in this final if he's able to get this top 4 finish, top 5 finish here, as we have 2 minutes left plus 2 laps.
Had it nearly 40 karts in his tent October of last year for CKNA Grants. Not that much of a management issue here, but definitely has had a very full palette for his season. Double duty for him this weekend. Has a handful of his crew north of the border for CKNA's Canada Grands. Other half of his team obviously supporting this at home. A smidge closer and the season opener here for the Midwest Division of Apex. And after consideration from Apex and the management to maybe open it up to 70, I think there was a very right choice in keeping it smaller and focusing on some of the best in the Midwest coming out, and you're seeing that right here on track. Henry Wheeler, Chris McKeithen, Sam Tutwiler, and certainly Mark Steele and Addison Iannello now in the track. 60 seconds on the clock. Wheeler now out to the front for the first time. McKeithen looking down low, looking like Tutwiler going to go with him. McKeithen back to the lead. Is Wheeler able to hold on for P2? Covering all the way down to driver's left, will actually take the lead back into the shark fin. No, McKeithen with the dive on the shark fin. Wheeler gonna try and cross him up. Mark Steele up into P3, tries to cut it low on exit. Mark Steele continues this dynamo charge forward from outside of the top 10. He's P2 on track. And I'm not sure if that was a very improper
friendly wave or not.
gesture there. I believe that was a point forward. Ooh, a couple carts stacked further back. Potentially move further back. Oh, look at this. 927.
927 of Brady Eichhoff. He was in 13th place at the time. Back up front, though, they are staying out of trouble, but they are just, I mean, no one's letting anyone get away in the top 7 here, and they're going to come to get the 2 laps to go as time has run out. But Sam Tutwiler, again, he was the dominant one yesterday, but they are all on his tail today, keeping him, as I like to say, keeping him honest in this race. As we now get the 2 laps to go, you can see the fingers pointing, stay in line, let's catch these leaders. We'll see how this all shakes out as we get the 2 laps to go, and they're catching them. No one's able to get away in this lead pack.
You have got a lot of polar bears in Arlington, Texas out here. Mark Steele was not expected to be in this picture. Will Wilkie further back in P4 enters the fray after a P12 start at the tail end of this 4-cart pack. This is the 206 racing you expect, you hope for. You tune into a Kart Chaser Grassroots weekend. Just a little bit further back now. Sam Tutwiler, Addison Iannello joining back into the fray. Where on earth did Holden Hardner come from a little bit further back? P7, fastest man on track with a 121.422. A little bit further back, 3/10 up from the remainder of the field. He's trying to make that move on the inside of Iannello for P7. McKeithen leading them all through the cell tower. Steele holding on to that runner-up position. Henry Wheeler doesn't know the next time he could be in a go-kart after this. Again, full season now committed to running in Porsche Cup overseas, making the most of every time he's getting behind the wheel, pushing his kart boss in front of him. Timer has hit 0.26 coming out this time by McKeithen, leading them all in that Coyote. And the white flag this time by McKeithen down low to defend, will force every highway around. Wheeler gonna go down low with them. Steele going middle now, will go 3 wide into I-70. No crossovers, Wilkie gonna fill it down low. Iannello harder going with him. Still McKeithen arrowheading them. Steele just behind, heading into the shark fin. Wheeler somehow able to patch it back up. This is phenomenal, Brett.
I was about to say, how hard do you race on this final lap? We saw in our previous one a kart go off. If you go off here, there's no room for error. There's no 20-second gap. You will go straight back to the back of the field. 10 seconds back is 25th place. I'm nervous for these guys. We'll see how it all shakes out as they continue through some of these final corners here. But Mark Steele obviously will get the award for making the most passes this weekend, but he still wants to make one more pass and get that win here in the pre-final.
Will Wilkie muscling around. Sam Tutwiler, Addison Iannello for P3, able to patch it up in that 984. That gives just a smidge of breathing room for Mark Steele. Looking to the inside, McKeithen covering down low. Into the 90s for the final time. Steele running out of steam. Wilkie all over his rear bumper. Steele trying to find an opportunity to cross him up. 2 more corners to try and get it done. Little bit of a checkup there from the entirety of this freight train. Out of the final corner one more time. Steele gonna try and drag race him to the line. Christopher McKeithen on pole for the main event later on today, but crucially, Mark Steele is still the real deal. 12 positions gained. We'll start alongside him on the front row.
We'll have to look back, but I think he started in the 20s or 30s yesterday. So he's really worked his way up. I mean, he almost got the win there. I think if he had a little bit more help on that straightaway, he would have been able to get a little bit closer. But I'm excited for the final. That was some great racing. Best race we've seen this morning early on.
We see it with Ryan Norberg and the AM Engines guys on the East Coast. But Mark Steele knows that lesson. If you're a team owner, the best way to build that tent, get carts rolling, and moving on to customers, go on track, test your product. Outside of row number 1 for the main event, we gotta catch our breath when we return back to the cadets with 206 Mini.
Hi, I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital e-waivers, a proprietary timing and scoring software, incident management, automated points tabulation, tire and barcode scanning. We even have our own mobile timing app and rental cart activity management software. If you're looking to consolidate your motorsports software solutions, reach out to us at alphatiming.co.uk.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser Driver Fitness episode with me, Chris G. Today, I'm gonna show you how to protect those ribs in the seat. We're doing core. Exercise number 1 is the bench leg raise. Controlled all the way down, full range of motion. Make sure you pick up that tailbone off the pad. Coming down, controlling. Great for the lower abdomen area and obliques. Floor slider mountain climbers, exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, the plate-loaded decline bench sit-up. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chris G Coaching, race-ready training that carries into real.
Pre-final on deck here for Briggs, 206. Mini Ryan Hall on pole position in the 109 Kart. Kane Torino, 142 Saudi Kart, be alongside him. Then it's Major Laser Bow in the 181 with Chase Call making up your row number 2. Anderson Hemphill, blue 124 in P5 alongside Lincoln Wiley in P6. Evan Leish in the 107, I should say. Kart Republic will be in P7 for MPG. Hayden Lawson, the Lawson Speed Shop, falling back further on in heat number 2 yesterday. Back to P8. Logan Pollock, Robbie Noe rounding out your top 10. Theo Stephens, Ruben Greer Again, very strong running from the new gen driver, Ruben Greer. He's got his work cut out for him as well. Alan Schulbach, Joseph Panico, Ellen Stoner, Light Simon Ellick, Dylan Goodard, Jackson McNeely, Caitlin Daly, and Elias Eunice rounding out your top 20. One more after this, Briggs Jr. Then we get to the big ones. Briggs finals coming up around 10:30 local. Toronto all on the front row. Let's set the grid for the main event. Let's go racing in 206 Mini. That comp cart immediately flips to the inside. Oh, big trouble further back. Caitlin Daly, I think, getting involved further back. No, Lincoln Wiley and one other. That might have been Evan Leash.
The frustration. They all able to make it through there. We'll try and get a look at that, but trying to get it sorted out. But it looks like whenever you see a driver turn off the track in the opposite direction like that, looks like they may have hooked wheels. So Lincoln Wiley obviously frustrated. As you can see, the rest of the carts able to get away cleanly, because I think they briefly went 3 wide. But here is our battle for the lead. They able to get an early on gap to the rest of the pack. We'll see if that's able to stay consistent throughout the rest of this race. But what a wild start. Again, turn 1, lap 1, been an issue all morning, all weekend here for a lot of these divisions.
I think it was mainly a lot of guys from that inside lane kind of flicking to the left again, trying to arc it wide into turn number 1. But regardless, we look to the front. Bo Laser up 2 positions from the whole shot already to the rear bumper of Ryan Hall in the 109. A little bit incognito for Ryan there behind the wheel of the comp car yesterday. Running out in front, not cracking under pressure. And how about this? Hayden Lawson, 5 positions gained, quickest lap from the get-go, gets that 110 into the party as well. Not too far behind Caden Taruno, trying to get into this party as well. Now a 3-kart battle for the lead. Ryan Hull, what's the move going to be? How hard does he defend? We haven't seen too much actually of a defense, but Laser really muscles him through as Hull goes off, patches it up for P3. That'll move Bo Laser up in the lead, Lawson up into P2.
Yeah, that gap that Ryan Hall had at that previous lap clearly went away, but now you can see the 181 Bo Laser, Hayden Lawson working together to try and gap themselves from the rest of the field. But again, another great race early on here. No one able to really get away, at least in this lead pack. But Bo Laser out in front, trying his best to gap the rest of the pack. But everyone looks like they got organized for now. But we'll see how this, if they stay in line, I should say, on this final corner down the straightaway. Again, looks like they're going to stay in line. They want to try and make a gap as much as possible.
Tip the cap to Caden Taruno further back, that 142. Orange and white Sodi has been able to clear both Ryan Hall and Anderson Hemphill, new fastest lap. Evan Leish further back in that 107. Kart Republic from My Parents Garage, 123.158, half a second up from this group you're seeing on track right now. Leader of pretty much the entire pack just behind this. 6-kart run for the lead right now. Laser leading them all in that 181. Still Lawson. Taruno now getting to the bumper of Lawson, with Hemphill trying to get in there. Evan Leish is actually there in the middle, just seeing that red in P5. Looking to the inside, able to get that move on Hemphill now for P5. Correction. A good movement further back. Tale of 2 stories right now, as Lawson driving to the front, Hemphill trying to make his hard charge as well. Same for the 107 of Leish. But crucially right now, Bo Laser still able to fend off all 6 of these guys halfway through our pre-final.
Yeah, and if you're Bo Laser, you have to wonder when the move's going to come, because you can see they continue to dice it up back there. You know that they're not just going to stay in line for the final 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps, but Bo Laser has been strong all weekend. As we get a look back at, this is the, let's see, this is 7th and 8th, Ruben Greer, Logan Pollock. As we go back up to the lead, looks like things are starting to move and groove here. Looks like slot into second. I believe this is our lead group as they continue to make passes here.
Evan Leash made sure to have his Wheaties this morning, up 3 positions from the start, now 5, as he's made moves on both Caden Taruno and Hayden Lawson for P2. He's trying to make that move. Crucially, Laser dropping back now to P3. Lawson up to the point. That MPG just behind. What a phenomenal run right now for Evan Leish behind the wheel of that 107.
And I mentioned the lap before, Bo Laser knew the move was probably going to finally come, and now he's back to third. Now he has to regroup, try and play offense, try and get back up to the lead. But no one's to get away in the top 6 or 7 here as they come down the straightaway once again in a formed line of 4 karts. Lawson, Leash, Laser, and Hemphill look like they are content to, nope, as I say that, Evan Leash goes to the lead in the 107. So another lead change here in minis this morning.
7 positions gained for Evan Leish right now to get up to the point. Hayden Lawson up a handful as well. Anderson Hemphill, I believe, up into P3, getting that move on Bo Laser. Yes. So a complete reshuffle. Again, we talk about the vast differences from what we saw on a soggy Saturday morning yesterday. And simply put, this 107 out in front, Evan Leish is more than comfortable in the dry here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Again, you got to remember, Hayden Lawson behind is running on one of the best motor builders in the business and has had plenty of laps here himself to test out these Briggs 206 power plants. Where on earth did Anderson Hemphill come from in the 124? He's now at the party as well. Bo Laser dropping back to P4. Further back battles no matter where you look. I think Robbie Noe there in the 187 dropping back. Here we go, 1 minute on the clock. No move for the lead. Leish middle of the track to force commitment issues there, both for Lawson and for Hemphill. Now Lawson with a really good exit out of I-70 through the shark fin. Maybe trying to build a little bit of insurance, potentially break away from Hemphill.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of a gap form, at least between first. Between first was up in the front previously.
It'll be twin sticks this time by, still Leish your leader. Lawson, Hemphill, building about a 1.2 second gap now over Bo Laser. He has still got company of his own though. Ryan Hall, Caden Taruno, and Ruben Greer. But 2 laps to go. And we talked about it earlier on with the Masters. These guys need to conserve anything that could wear away or break, whether it's the chassis, the tires, etc. How badly do these guys want to be on pole position for the main event? No moves into I-70. Lawson with a good run. Take it all to the bumper of the 107 in front of him. Heading into the shark fin. Further back, it is a mothball. Nat Sodi, Caden Taruno leading all of them just in front. That new Gen 120 of Ruben Greer, Logan Pollock, Ryan Hall, Joseph Panico in that mix. But still single file we run here towards the cell tower.
I think you asked the question earlier on in one of our other divisions. If you're in third place, do you just stay there, content to start on the inside row, second row, or do you try and make a pass here and try and get the lead? But now Hemphill seems to be dropping off just slightly from Leish and Lawson. So we'll see if that is if he's able to make up any time in this infield section. But it looks like for now it's going to be these 3 karts battling it out for this lead here in the pre-final as they continue to gap third place.
3.5 seconds the gap to these guys right here. And it looks like Ruben Greer, I think, making that move on Taruno. He has. New Gen Motorsports out in full force this weekend, making their Apex debut for the Midwest Division. White flag out. No move in the prime spot of I-70 there for Lawson. Now we'll try and arc it wide into the shark fin. Again, Leish defending to a T here, leaving the door open, but only in the difficult parts of the racetrack for Lawson and Hemphill to make a move. Coming out of the scoreboard corner, as we've called it. They continue to run bumper to bumper here. No moves just yet. Now they've gotten very close, working their way up over the hill into Cell Tower. A little bit of a wide arc from Lawson through turn 10, still bumper to bumper. Again, good conservation from these drivers. They could be waiting until the very end here, working into the 90s. Just a quick flick to the right into the short chute. What's the defense here from Evan Leish? Here comes Lawson to the inside. Turn number 13. Will he be able to get that Lawson speed shot machine to the lead? He does. Hemphill trying to go with him. Leish not going to fight back. Hemphill going to try and take that last front row spot. Now it's Leish going to try to cross him up to the line. Checkered flag is out. Aiden Lawson on pole position for the main event in Briggs Mini. Last couple of corners, you can get it done in the 90s.
Yeah, what a great move by Lawson to be patient, ride in line, and then make that move with just a few couple corners left. Lawson up 7 to get that win. Leish up 5, Hemphill up 2, and then Ruben Greer in 4th, up 8 positions. So a lot of our drivers that started mid-pack or maybe outside the top 10, able to get some strong finishes here heading into the final.
Good stuff. That'll be fun for their main event coming up, 11:30 local. Step aside for just a moment. When we return, our final of the pre-finals, Briggs Jr. coming up.
Macron Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macronmotorsports.net.
We've got one more grid to set for the main events in just a little bit. And we end things off with Briggs 206 Jr. Ryder Thompson on pole in the 864. Rylan Gordon alongside him in the LN Kart. Willem Richard in the 887 will be alongside Jacob Scheibel on row number 2. Tegan Schneider and Ezekiel Height round out row number 3. Chris Yutzi, who got a little bit argy-bargy yesterday for KA100, will be in P7. Laney Thigpen alongside him on row number 4. Evan Frey and Tyler Nash Turner round out your top 10. I believe 27 karts we've got here in 206 Junior. This should be a doozy, Brett.
Yeah, Cooper Mull, AJ Stoner, Daniel Dragunov, Giovanni Blackerby, Ryder Nesbitt, Gavin Dyer, Parker Dunn, Randy Harvey, Callahan Myers, and Jet Price round out your top 20. Some strong names there, 11th through 20th.
Watch Dragunov in the 851 for New Gen. Consistently a top 10, definitely a top 5 kart. Elon Dwyer, Jonathan Bohr, 21st, 22nd. Henrik McKay, Joseph Bayet was a top 10 kart, certainly. Yesterday, he dropped back with Brahma in heat number 2. He's P24. Tory Dangerous Daniels in the TB, P25. Carson Benjamin in P26. Wyatt Collado, Henry Maxwell, Madison Foss, Kendall Collins, rounding out your top 30. Again, nearly sold out both in senior and junior this weekend. Isaiah Maxey, Sid Miller round out the field to 32. Couple more additions here on Sunday. But here we go. It was Gordon trying to get to the point all day long yesterday in the pair of heats. That guy who was inside the 354 has been, simply put, untouchable in this junior category, much like Cam Johnson in the KAs. We'll see if that can finally come to an end in a fully dry, fully sunny Indiana Sunday as we take the green flag for 206 junior. Good start further back. Scheibel in the 21 able to push him through. Gordon dropping back significantly. At least 2 or 3 positions lost there coming through I-70. They'll thunder up and over the crest into the shark fin for the first time. Still Ryder Thompson out in front at 864. Gordon really hemorrhaging speed here as that LN kart could potentially be outside of the top 10 now. I'm looking for the yellow and blue. It is very much in the mix. 4-kart breakaway, though. Jacob Scheibel, William Richard, Ezekiel Height. Your top 4 here to get us started.
A lot of contact farther back in the pack, but everyone surprisingly able to make it through smoothly. No offs that we know of, but take a look at this top 4 as now they're starting to make some moves here early on. Everyone trying to, as I always mention, you got to make those moves early on when everyone's tight together. Easy for me to say, but keep in mind, the longer this race goes, the higher chance it is that everyone gets strung out. So again, want to make those moves early on here, but we got a battle up front for about the top 6 all in the line here.
We have not seen anything like this to this point this weekend. But here we go. Ryder Thompson first to the stripe. Richard Schneider, Scheibel, Yutzi, and Ezekiel Height, your top 5. Couple of guys popping out, trying to make a move right now, but everyone arcing it wide for the most part here into I-70.
Oh, no!
That is a monster collection! Oh my goodness! 3 or 4 carts collected.
That was part of the track equipment, I guess you would call it, that they ran into. And that's down the straightaway, so what on earth happened there?
Try and get numbers for you as soon as we can. It's hard to tell because, well, they were able to pass the stripe then. Bad things, suboptimal things started to happen. Reshuffle at the front, though. I believe William Richard now able to get in front of Ryder Thompson. That pink helmet behind the wheel, the 887. That might have been Deacon Schneider, actually, in the 809. But yeah, that was a couple of carts, at least 3 collected in that incident. I saw a couple try to drive away, but they might have damage as well that they're nursing. And again, we talk about a pre-final where you're trying to move forward, but again, keep the cart in one piece for the final. And for some of these guys, less than an hour away, you want to keep the cart in one piece. That is worst case scenario. You got to run back to the tent, get the cart back on the table, make sure everything's okay, and then work from the tail end of the field. Tegan Schneider, Jacob Scheibel. Now it's Scheibel looking to the inside of Tegan in the 809. We'll get to the lead as, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Schneider dropping back all the way to P5. Will slot in just behind Ezekiel Height through the shark fin.
So these are our leaders. The top 6 have no idea of the calamity that they just missed farther back in the pack. But again, what great racing we're seeing early on with all of these divisions as Jacob Scheibel continues to lead. You can see they're trying to dice it up there for 3rd and 4th. I believe that's Ryder Thompson and William Richard, but no one's able to break away, just like what we saw in the previous division. It looks like we're going to see a great race straight through the end here.
Two-kart breakaway now as Jacob Scheibel, Ryder Thompson have a 10-kart advantage, it would seem, over William Richard, Ezekiel Height. Where did Chris Yutzi end up in that fray? Oh my goodness, look at this wave
What a mess.
of karts. You've got at least 8 or 9 here working their way through the 90s. Looks to be William Richard in the 887 leading them all. Again, the point forward you see there from William Richard. These guys know they got pace. Everybody pointing together. I think they're on the same program. But it is indeed Ezekiel Height leading all of them. This is P3 back to P7. Can they close that gap to the 2? Out in front, Scheibel and Thompson with 3.5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, Scheibel and Thompson have set sail. Meanwhile, there is this mess in the back of the pack. And actually, our fastest driver is Daniel Dragunov in 10th. So we have some fast karts in the mid-pack here, but I don't know if they're close enough to get to the lead. So if you're Daniel, what you want to do is make as many passes in this tight pack that we see back here as you can, so you can get the best starting position, most points possible before we head into the final. But what a logjam we have back here.
I saw some very aggressive pointing from a Coyote in the middle of this train. That means AJ Stoner on the move again. 7 positions gained from the start. P12 up into P5. You see him now running 3rd in this pack, just behind Yutzi and Zeke. William Richard, Tegan Schneider just behind. Tegan had such a good run. But Brett, we talk about the issue with the 206 racing. Yes, it's so close. It's always wheel to wheel. But if you get offline, whether it's you making a mistake, someone forcing you wide, there's no such thing in this kind of freight train-based racing as a single car loss on track. No one's going to give you that gap to slot in. The minute that hole is open, everyone's going to do everything they can to fill it. You see it right now. Height going a little bit wide. Stoner and Schneider moseying on through. Chris Yutzi now leading him.
Yeah, if you get out of line, you got to kind of do a little bit of, you maybe have to touch wheels or touch karts. You got to force your way back in, because the last thing you want to do is drop to outside the top 10, which is very much possible with how packed together all of these karts are, with the exception, of course, of our first 2. But I believe that they are being caught slightly, possibly, by Height, Yutzi, and Stoner here, who are 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There's still at least 3 or 4 laps to go, so there's plenty of time if they work together to try and catch our 2 leaders that you see on your screen right now of Scheibel and Thompson.
Last time by Ryder Thompson, 123.6, 123.4 from Ezekiel here in P3. Though that battle might have hurt him a little bit. Let's see that gap here with a minute on the clock. Almost a second even. They don't need much more to get within the draft, but again, it requires everybody to be on the same program. Tegan Schneider's got different plans, sends that steel machine to the inside, and we'll cut through AJ Stoner for P6, checking back in. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Still looks to be Yutzi out in front and full of Steel Motorsports Burrell machines. Some Coyotes making up the meat of this sandwich. Working over the hill. Crucially, yeah, they're continuing to reshuffle middle of this pack. It's still that 833 a Yutzi out in front. He has found the pace, and you look at this on track, Brett, they are getting closer and closer to this duo out in front.
Yeah, Yutzi is going to get there if they stay like this with plenty of time before even the white flag waves, because the clock has just run out, so they're going to get the 2 laps to go. Next time around, he's there. We'll see if he wants to make a move, and he does. He's going to go down onto the inside of Ryder Thompson, and it looks like he got that position.
Really good move, and crucially, Yutzi keeping it open on exit, able to roll all that momentum into the rest of the 90s. What that means is in the run of the Twin Sticks, he is right on the bumper of your race leader, Jacob Scheibel. Ezekiel Height just coming off of another purple lap just there in P3 in the 884. But here we go. 2 laps to go in the pre-final. Our guess is as good as yours for what this top 10 could look like for the main event. Push to the inside. Height helping Yahtzee through. They'll go side by side coming out of the shark fin. Schneider trying to cross him up in that pink helmet. That'll open the door to Thompson and Richard on the high line, not able to get there. Now they get washed up. Stoner and Dragunov entering the fray. You've got it all the way back to Dragunov and Frey. 9 karts in the mix for the lead here.
You have to wonder if the crews are giving these drivers any hand signals, because they are racing intensely. And like I keep mentioning, the last thing you want to happen is have an off-track incident on these final 2 laps, because you will go to the rear of the field and not have a good setup for the final. But clean and green so far. Everyone looks like they're content to stay in line. We know that's not going to stay the same for these final 2 laps, as we see a defensive line here as they continue to mix it up.
A couple of guys trying to go defensive here through the 90s. That's hurt. I believe Ezekiel Height and Ryder Thompson. That's allowed Yahtzee to mosey on through. Crucially, Tegan Schneider out of nowhere here into P2. Jacob Scheibel bringing everybody down to the paint here. White flag, 1 more lap to go in the pre-final. Doors open for Schneider. Scheibel gonna try and swing it wide through I-70. Yahtzee hanging on to P3 there behind the wheel of the 833. Scheibel dragging in the run through the shark fin, doing anything he can to break that draft. Good exit coming out. And that'll make it a 4-kart race, and I believe it is AJ Stoner making that move on Height, going deep into the outside here, trying to cross up. Look at this move, making the move on Schneider for the lead. Tegan Schneider gets to the point here as we work our way into the cell tower for the final time. These are expensive moves for the lead. The point forward, how much is AJ gonna listen to that? Because there are so many further back right now. Height, Stoner, Richard, Thompson. Look at this battle further back. An absolute furball from the second row on back, but it's the 809 Burrell. Tegan Schneider to the point. AJ Stoner up 7 or 8 positions, trying to be on the top spot for the main event. Schneider defensive into the 90s. Good run around the outside. Is Stoner going to be able to make it stick? Nearly into the grass. Will fully be ahead. Schneider going to try and swing it back. 3 corners to go, 2 to go. Stoner going the long way around, walking the tightrope. One of the moves of the weekend gets AJ Stoner on pole position for the main event.
What a race to the line from 3rd to about 10th or 13th. Wow, that was intense. But good, clean racing. No one off track those final 2 laps, at least in the top 15. Very impressive. I cannot wait for this final.
This is bad for the heart and maybe for the mind in a lot of things, but there is something so satisfying in knowing we've got 12 minutes and 2 laps of that coming up. Oh my goodness, AJ Stoner, your winner. Tegan Schneider be alongside him for the main event coming up. Step aside for about 5 minutes here from Newcastle. When we return, time to hand out some trophies. Briggs Masters coming up from Newcastle.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
How's he gonna make weight? Okay, you're good.
I'm sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle. How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure of the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspects with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Trophy time from Newcastle Motorsports Park in round number 1 of the Apex Midwest Division. Jamie Bradford on pole position. Be alongside Levi Wilbur, the 406, Clay Settles, and AJ Roderick. make up row number 2. It's Sean Kennedy, Alan Elwood, P5 and 6, Todd Davis, J. Brian Williams, P7 and 8, Buddy Daly, and Timothy Shutt rounding out your top 10. We'll go for 12 minutes and 2 laps. The first of 5 main events here for the Briggs 206 category. Paul Mickelry, Grant Estes make up row number 6. Certainly not least, Kevin Simonellic, double duty this weekend, will be alongside Chris Ashcraft to make up your small but mighty field of 14. Stoked to have you with us here for the lid lifter for Apex and the Midwest Division. He's Brett Baldeck. I'm Jackson Lambros. We are ready to go racing here. And as we say it, always an endearment. It's the crazy old men ready to get this party started.
Yeah, longest race that we're going to see. Obviously, the finals 12 minutes plus 2 laps. Excited to see how this all shakes out. We'll see who comes out on top in about 15 minutes from now.
Near double what they had for the heats yesterday. Bradford on the inside, Levi Wilbur on the outside. Time to give away some trophies. Time to go racing. Let's do it. 206 Masters underway into turn number 1. Watch that Coyote further back. AJ Roderick trying to give a little bit of a shove to Jamie Bradford. We've got one card off further back, the 475. Timothy Shutt going for a little bit of an excursion. Excuse me, J. Brian Williams going off. That's a send into the shark fin. I believe Levi Wilbur in the 406, mayhaps. No, Clay Settles trying to make that move down low. Not able to get there, crossing him up further back now. Alan Elwood in the 405 can't get there. And crucially, we are up and away. Jamie Bradford, Levi Wilbur out in front to get us started.
And luckily, unlike yesterday, you get off in the grass today, you can actually save it. It's dried out nicely with the sunshine, so you saw the dust flying up. But J. Brian Williams went off, lost a lot of positions, but he was able to get back on track. He has plenty of time to hopefully make up some of those positions, as early on here, I think these Masters know that they have a long race here, so they are going to try and get organized and maybe just wait things out, let some laps click off before they decide to start making those passes and dicing it up for the lead. I think the top 2, Jamie Bradford and Levi Wilbur, want to see the same thing happen that we saw in their pre-final, which is them get an extensive lead or a little bit of a gap before they start making some of the passes, because you can see 3rd, 4th, and 5th right on their heels.
Tell you what though, Brett, it feels like it's only really been, 2 or 3 at most in conversation out in front, specifically for this Masters category in 206 for the vast majority of this weekend. Before the main event, you look right now all the way back to Clay Settles, Alan Elwood, maybe even Todd Davis. Got a lot of guys in contention we're not necessarily expecting, especially considering the spread of pace in the wet. Saturday morning, Jamie Bradford still your leader. Good moves, AJ Roderick, Sean Kennedy up a pair of spots. Clay Settles, Alan Elwood dropping back down. Both of them down to 5th and 6th respectively. Move to the outside as Sean Kennedy tries to make that move stick on AJ Roderick. Not going to get there. That'll be much to the help of Jamie Bradford, giving him just a little bit more insurance. He can see that gap gain now as Roderick going to try it on the inside, working his way into the 90s. He's clear. Kennedy going to go with him. That'll be Wilbur dropping back to P4.
Yeah, good move by Roderick there. Looks like he thinks that he can probably has a faster car and can make a move that can get up to the leader, but still very early on here. And you have to wonder, this is again the longest race of the weekend, as it should be for the finals. How much will handling come into play these final couple laps?
I think mainly it's just going to be staying in the picture, right? Shades of Talladega, shades of Daytona, just being within closing distance of the guy in front. What I would normally say is that takes just a little bit of conservation, whether it's not sawing at the wheel and taking away too much MG rubber, or obviously not making, I think the best way I would describe it is expensive moves, right? Doing crazy sends, driving people deep, or going around the outside, trying to make moves in parts of the racetrack that are normally unorthodox, because the minute you do that, especially in these lower power categories, especially the 4-cycle stuff, you risk cutting that head off of the snake, right? Building that gap from P1 to the remainder of the field. I think that over-aggression that we especially saw in the heats, a little bit in the pre-final, is why we've seen this being, at the very most, a 3-kart breakaway. That is not the case now. 4 karts as it stands in the mix. You still got Clay Settles a little bit further back, the 469, but considering he was duking for the win, shocked to see him now fending off from Alan Elwood and Timothy Shutt just a little bit further back. Again, still plenty of time. And we know just how mature these master drivers can be. That does not mean they aren't brave. They are known to stick these karts where the sun doesn't shine to make a move on the last lap. But crucially, they know how to do the dance together. Perfectly execute bumper to bumper for laps on end. Knowing where to turn in, where to just slightly tap the binders. Full speed as a single unit, and you're seeing that right now. AJ Roderick, fastest last time by, 123.417, a tenth up from Jamie Bradford out in front. Move for P2 is Sean Kennedy. Tries to make that move, the 490 a little bit further back now we'll check in with. As that's Christopher Ashcraft, I believe. With Paul Mickelry, Brant Estes, and company. Grant, one of the front runners we'll see in the afternoon. He looked very strong yesterday in the KA100 equipment. A little bit shocked to see him outside the bubble in the top 10. Kevin Simonelli, Christopher Ashcraft going at it right now, 13th and 14th. I believe this is J. Brian Williams. 457, Timothy Shutt, excuse me. Not sure how he got his hands on a Pantano. We are a long way from our friends at Forward Direction Motorsports, Colorado. But regardless, it's always good to see that diversity of chassis, diversity of equipment here on track. This being your battle right now, 8th and 9th.
Yes, and while we've been watching this battle in the back, Sean Kennedy has gone to the fastest lap of this session. There you can see our leaders right there. It looks like, I believe that's AJ Roderick that may be now in the lead. It is. So we saw a pass for the lead. Roderick was in second. Now put him back on point. And scratch what I said about being patient. It looks like they want to, maybe AJ thought he had a faster kart, maybe can gap the rest of the field. But they're not going to let him get away. They are still right on his tail. And of course, we know Jamie Bradford's had a strong kart all weekend long. And we'll see what Sean Kennedy can do with that fastest lap. He currently still sits, I believe, in 3rd place.
Ohio Zone AJ Roderick out in front behind the wheel of that 456. Gets to the point for the first time. Full-time regular, and will actually be the first time this year we don't see him at an MCC event for the Pro-Ams. Fighting against some of the best senior drivers on 4-cycle power in this region. Jamie Bradford still right there with him behind the wheel of the 428. You can see just how expensive that was as you see a little bit further back. That gives a pulse once again for Clay Settles and Levi Wilbur further back in the 469 and the 406 as they continue to try chip away. Talking with Xander Clements, we don't have a solid number, but roughly, 8/10 where you just start to get into the effect of the draft of the guy in front of you. So Settles, Wilbur needing just a little bit more. Pull a seat up to the table. 4 minutes left on the clock. Bradford has been out in front for the vast majority of this 206 Masters main event. That has finally changed for the first time. But with 3 minutes and 2 laps left on the clock, we are far from done here.
Yeah, the top 3, Roderick, Bradford, and Kennedy, have been able to break away. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday. So you and I are able to look at the clock, but these drivers don't have a clock. So they're kind of guesstimating, how long has 12 minutes been? So I think just like what we saw yesterday, once they see that double 2 laps to go, 2 fingers up in the air, 2 sticks up in the air, that's when I think these top three will start really starting to dice it up for the lead. But they've done a nice job of putting a little bit of a cushion between them and 4th and 5th as we continue to ride around with about 3 minutes left here in the Masters final.
And I mean, for a lot of these guys, Brett, it's just back of the napkin math, right? Like, you know, you have 12 minutes on the clock plus 2 laps. So you're able to kind of deduct what your average race pace has been, at least in these conditions going off the pre-final. And you're able to figure out pretty close. Once you get to lap number 6, with 3 minutes on the clock, you should have about 3 or more laps before you see the twin sticks coming out. So at this point in the race, if you got a micron on the steering wheel, you have a lap counter at least, because you know how many times that transponder's hit the receiver. So these guys still have a pretty good picture with enough mental power to figure out where they're at in the race. Again, you got to treat these kinds of races like a marathon. If you keep slaving away and immediately go into the inside the minute you lose that lead, that's very quickly going to stack other drivers up into the mix. Play settles Levi Wilbur. Great example of that right now. 1.83 the gap now from P3 to P4. Just at the back of your picture there, those two have found each other on the racetrack. They could very quickly start working together to close this gap to Kennedy in P3.
And you see Bradford's been right on the tail of Roderick this entire lap. So part of me wonders, we know how strong Bradford is he buying his time? And also now trying to gap himself between Sean Kennedy, because there is a gap there. So obviously Bradford is not going to just stay in line the whole time. So you have to wonder, if you're AJ Roderick, how often do you look behind you to see when Jamie Bradford's going to make that move as the clock continues to click down. So we're down to about a minute here, then plus the 2 laps. So a lot of mind games go on, I guess, not just worrying about how you get through these corners, but then you have to worry about what is your competition going to do, especially in these longer final events that we have here today at Newcastle Motorsports Park.
Could be the twin sticks coming out this time by. How much is left in the patience tank? Oh, look at that wave back in there. He went offline, and there was that little hand gesture there, I think, telling AJ to get back in line. So again, these two have actually given themselves a little bit of a cushion over Sean Kennedy. It was 5 or 6 karts to get us started. Second half of the race, we came down to 3 with Kennedy. Now with a little bit of cooperation between Bradford and Roderick, it has become a 2-horse race to the end. And crucially, you saw Bradford saying, I'm not trying to make a move on you. I'm trying to build that gap. Get back in line. Let me push you. When these twin sticks come out, we can party without having to worry about Kennedy, Settles, Wilbur further back. Clearly, AJ saw something further back, because he did mosey back and was able to swing it wide into the shark fin. But again, Brett, you get the feeling the minute these guys see the twin sticks, the gloves are going to come off.
Exactly, and if you're Sean Kennedy, it must be so frustrating to see these guys build a gap that gets smaller than smaller out of your visor. So if you're Sean Kennedy, you just want them to start dicing it up, because that's going to be Sean's only chance of getting back up to these leaders. And they just got that 2 to go. And here comes the move right here.
Bradford back to the inside. And your reigning club champion in 206 seniors right here at Newcastle Motorsports Park gets back to the point with 2 laps to go. And that was not a costly part of the racetrack. Roderick didn't fight it much either, and that's telling me he is absolutely believe he's got something still behind the wheel of that 456. Again, you got to ask yourself, for Jamie Bradford, is that move a couple corners, maybe a lap too soon? Could this be, you know, still with enough time to give AJ a chance to swing back?
Yeah, that was smart racing by Roderick not to challenge for that position. Still too early with 2 laps, 18 turns. That's a lot of racing left to go, but you can see Bradford's been able to gap by about 3 kart lengths, and it looks like Roderick's having some issues closing back up that gap, and Sean Kennedy still has not been able to close the gap either. As we're coming around for the white flag lap, you can see Roderick's trying his best. He's close to up slightly here as we get that white flag.
It's the one that counts for the 2:06 Masters final. AJ Roderick gonna try and pedal to close that gap to Jamie Bradford. If there was any spot that would be easiest on racetrack, it would be right here. Good battle developing further back. I think Alan Elwood, Tim Shutt, Buddy Daly from 6th back to 8th. Now Sean Kennedy forced to turn and burn with Clay Settles, Levi Wilbur for that bottom spot on the podium. Check over the shoulder for Bradford. We were expecting a very quick response from AJ Roderick to at least get to the bumper of Bradford, but he has struggled, and clean air to the nose of the 428 has been exactly what the doctor ordered. Further back, Sean Kennedy looking like he'll have to settle for P3. Levi Wilbur not quite within striking distance of Clay Settles, but into the 90s for the final time. Jamie Bradford able to fend off, has been picture perfect all weekend long. AJ Roderick, a dynamo on Saturday. But for the Hoosier native, for the KRA Club Racer full-time, there is no place like home. One more check out of the shoulder, one more corner. Fist pump in the air. Jamie Bradford gonna be your first winner in the Midwest Division. He'll take victory in Briggs Masters.
Yeah, what a great race by Bradford. I think he was just biding his time, knew he had such a strong kart that we've seen all weekend, and he made that pass and that just gapped AJ Roderick and Sean Kennedy. So Bradford with a good finish here, nice win. What a great time to win, as I mentioned yesterday. Win in the state of Indiana in the month of May.
Pretty cool. Timothy Shutt up 4 positions, gets up to P6. AJ Roderick, Sean Kennedy, 2 apiece, as Clay Settles, who was the dance partner for Bradford all weekend long, has to settle for P4. Buddy Daly, Ellen Elwood, J. Brian Williams, Todd Davis round out your top 10. That is 1 away and 4 to go here for our Briggs main events. It's Briggs Micro on deck.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix! James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars!
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakracing.com.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsports Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go.
Ready to go racing for 2:06 Micro. James Fox on pole position. And it's the boss man, Remy Boss, in the 288 making up your front row. Clyde Clement, Toby Blue on row number 2. Wyatt Brolsman, TJ Akers, row number 3. Jude Boss, Sam Robinson, 7th and 8th. Harrison Fisher and Jackson Sloan rounding out your top 10. James Fox looked so strong yesterday, Brett, but unfortunately for him, the track has dried out. That's a little bit of his superpowers lost here come main event Sunday.
Yeah, it's created a more level playing field because he was in a league of his own with the rain yesterday. I think plus 20 seconds on the rest of the field, plus 15 seconds. But I think for the fans, for the drivers, for our cameramen, I think it's a lot nicer weather. It's a lot more enjoyable to have Championship Sunday in nice sunny skies. But you will notice there is still a pretty stiff breeze today. That was kind of playing a factor a little bit yesterday as well, as we see these drivers get doubled up as they come through the infield section, and they'll be getting the green here momentarily. But excited to see these micros take off. It's been the show of just the front two drivers, but we'll see if anyone made some changes in that short break to contend for the win here.
Rev Blue, our director, Carson Clements on the switches. And out in the stands, Kason Fry, Gabe Romo, working hard, flag to flag, bringing you the coverage you've been looking for in this Maiden Apex Championship. We're ready to go racing for 11 minutes and 2 laps on top of it. Fox looking so strong all weekend long, but the Boss brothers have surged late in this weekend. Can they bring it to the top cart out in front? Time to find out. Time to go racing in the 206 micro final. Really good shove there from Clement in the 293 Parolin. That has given a Mario Kart mushroom to Fox through I-70 for the first time. Blue slots in P3 as Clement now drops back significantly, 5th or 6th, but immediately, Brett, what do we talk about? Two guys who have been in the picture all weekend long. There are 2-cart breakaway to get things started.
Yeah, James Fox, Remy Boss picking up where they left off in the pre-final. And I'm interested to see how much they're able to gap with the 12 minutes. That's not what the rest of the field wanted to see is these two drivers get out to this early lead, because they worked together in the pre-final to gap themselves. And it looks like they are on par to do the same. Now, as we learned yesterday, you don't give the win out, obviously, until the checkered flag, because we saw drivers in some of our other divisions go off course on the final lap. So it's far from over. Anything can happen, but you can see also our third place position actually is starting to catch these two drivers as they go side by side for the lead.
Boss through the inside. That'll be a done deal. Through turn number 13. Working into the 90s to get to the point. And here comes that Parolin further back. In at P3. That's one of the Blues brothers, I believe. I almost said Trevor Blue. Trying to figure out which one. They do run very similar liveries. Toby Blue in the 290 up into P2 is clear of James Fox by the I-70s. Where did Blue come from?
You have to wonder, is the handling off? I know it's still early on, but is the handling off on the James Fox machine? Because you can see Remy Boss has gapped these drivers by a long distance. So interesting to see. Maybe James Fox has a long run kart, you could say, but definitely was not what we were expecting to see. Was Remy Boss come out here and take this lead? Look at the gap he's been able to put on the rest of the field. So really just within a lap of taking the lead.
Blue under fire now as TJ Akers in that Zebra GFC trying to put the pressure. Again, only a single set of MG tires allocated over the course of the weekend. They were offered a little bit less use over this weekend, obviously, with the wet weather on Friday and Saturday. These guys don't need to use their MG set, obviously, until Saturday. But again, even then, with how damp it was out on track, I think we were just at the crossover point. A lot of guys having the options. Save slickware as now Blue looks to the inside again. Will fully clear Fox. It's over the shoulder there before slotting in front of Akers, patching it up. P4. Now trying to recover. Goes to the inside through the shark fin. Blue side by side. Akers going to go through with him. 2 spots lost for Blue. That'll be P4. These guys consistently reshuffling. Not only does that bring Brolsman from P5 in that Kart Republic into the mix, it gives an even bigger gap for Remy Boss out in front.
Yeah, you can't even see. You saw him briefly flash by the screen right there. Remy Boss, last time by, had a nearly 3-second lead. There he is. So I'm shocked, to be honest with you, to see James Fox drops back like this. He was in the lead, and I definitely, Remy Boss must have felt like that Fox was holding him up, and he thought correctly. But it's still a long way to go. But if you wonder if these 4 drivers get together, if they're going to be able to track down Remy Boss, but that's going to be a tall order because he has checked out early on in this event.
Quartet of karts here for the bottom 2 steps of the podium. James Fox, Toby Blue, TJ Akers, and now Wyatt Brolsman entering the fray in that Kart Republic, the orange and white machine further back. Blue giving a little bit of a shove to Akers, as now the GFC will lead the point. James Fox all the way back to 4th now, as they continue to battle. Won't be long before Clyde Kelman enters into the mix from P6, the 293 Parolin, just working through the shark fin, entering as they exit. Full runnings for Toby Blue, a little bit incognito this weekend, but able to really turn up the wick here in the main event, fighting for the middle spots on the podium.
Yeah, him and TJ Akers, he had struggles, I would call it, in the pre-final, but TJ Akers now up to 2nd. I believe he went off track in the pre-final, and then something happened on the final lap as well, but he's been able to battle back up to a podium position in 2nd. As you can take a look at the rest of our field, that was TJ Akers, as I was mentioning, and there's James Fox, the driver we've been talking about all weekend. I think now he's back to, is that 4th or 5th? But he has a little bit of work to do if he wants to get back into the top 3.
Halfway home in our Briggs Micro main event. Blue with a good run here. Keeps it on the bumper of Akers. Now cuts it shallow. Has to defend from Brolsman further back. Oh my gosh. Parolin Daytona. The 293. Clyde Clement had to hang on to it. Oversped into I-70. Able to gather it back up. We'll hold on to P6. Again, this is the group he's trying to join right now. TJ Akers, Toby Blue. Fox in the middle. Now Brolsman at the back of the pack. You would think with the draft right now, these guys would be closing in, or at least even on lap time. Not the case. Remy Boss, another purple lap last time by, 125.290. Not only is that a 1/4 of a second up from that quartet just behind, it's given him a 6.5 second gap just halfway into this race. Checking in a little bit further back in the field, Harrison Fitcher earns the coolest livery award right now. That Max Verstappen Red Bull Racing machine. Jackson Sloan just in front of him. Not too much rest for him. He'll jump into his Micro Swift in just a little bit here after lunch for the Micro Swift pre-final and main event later on. About half the field jumping over to the 60cc action later on. Fox thinking about a move to the inside, backs out of it, leaves the door slightly open. I think there was a little bit of contact there maybe with Wyatt Brolsman. These guys have been wheel to wheel for almost 10 minutes straight now. They have kept it very clean to this point.
Yeah, this is going to be the best battle that we have on the racetrack right now, 2nd through 5th on the racetrack. Everyone's pretty much spread out otherwise. Of course, Remy Boss continues to lay down blistering laps with an 8-second lead, but you can see James Fox back there. He wants to at least get up to 2nd, get a podium position here. Still plenty of time to go, but great racing back here for these young drivers, learning a lot like they learned yesterday through the rain. Now they're able to try and just go out flat out speed here in these dry conditions. That's the 254. Again, TJ Akers in second place. Nice recovery after what we saw in the pre-final, but it looks like he may have a challenge here soon from Toby Blue.
Again, Micro, I believe age 6. No, age 7, the youngest you can get behind the wheel. And for a lot of these racers, that first step of getting out of a kid kart into a true wheel-to-wheel racing environment, a lot of these guys, you know, they throw the green flag and do wheel-to-wheel, but it's not nearly as competitive as this right here. Look at this. James Fox trying to make a move there. Actually had to pay for it. Wyatt Brolsman now trying to go on through on the inside of the shark fin. Little bit of overlap. Fox able to hang on barely there for P4. Bit of wheel-to-wheel racing here. 2.5 minutes to go.
Just want to say this is my first time looking at or being at Newcastle Motorsports Park and calling a race. That shark fin corner looks like so much fun. I wish if I was in a cart,
Right?
It looks like it's got some banking on it, and it just looks like a lot of fun. And we've seen a lot of passes happen through that section all weekend long as well, as these drivers continue to bump and bang here for second through fourth. And they're going to be content to ride, I think, in this single file formation until they get possibly the 2 laps to go signal from the start finish line, which will come up in about 2 minutes.
Not too much to say that hasn't been said already about Newcastle Motorsports Park. Center of Indiana, not a single regional or crucially national event that has not been hosted here. SCUSA Pro Tour Stars Championship, Series USPKS, all calling this track home. Obviously, Apex here on top of the Route 66 Sprint Series. And of course, the mother of all races for grassroots competitors. Cup Karts North America's Grand Nationals in the fall. If there is a major karting championship or a major karting event, it's happening right here off of I-70, about 90 minutes out from downtown Indianapolis. And it has been what so many in America have called the Lonato of America, just because of the sheer amount of weeks that a lot of these aspiring professional drivers spend at this track. The amount of weekends spent at this track for competition, for testing. Not a lot of weekends, especially the Midwest native guys, don't spend out here. Call NCMP home. Ironically enough, it's the kid from Ohio out in front right now, Remy Boss. With 30 seconds on the clock, 10 seconds clear of TJ Akers and company.
Yeah, Remy Boss literally, don't mean to use a pun here, but he's literally on a Sunday drive. He has clear racetrack in front of him as they continue to battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth here. Again, this is the best battle that we have on the racetrack. Of course, you want bragging rights to get the win, but then if you can't get up to leader, at least get the podium second and third place positions. So we'll see how this shakes out through this infield section, as it looks like they're going to have a new second place position there. That is the 254. TJ Akers actually goes back into second. I think they made some passes earlier on after the start finish line, and you can see James Fox now into third, so his kart may be coming back strong here in the late stages of this event.
212 Top Kart starting to come to life, fending off from the Kart Republic just behind. That's given Akers a little bit of breathing room in the GFC, just a little bit further up track. Duking it out for the bottom 2 positions on the podium, since that top step is pretty much locked up at this point. A really strong run from TJ Akers has been in the tracks of both Remy and James all weekend long. Has finally been able to be sandwiched between 2 of them on the timing sheet. Now that finally changes. A little bit of a shove to the outside here with the twin sticks coming out. Brolsman going to help push James to the front. Blue to the outside, now backs into it. Just like that, James Fox has been all over this order. He gets himself back to the front.
Yeah, not surprised to see James Fox come to the lead of this pack and get that second position. It looked like TJ Akers went a little bit wide coming out of that final corner. So we have the 2 laps to go signal was just given to these drivers, and it looks like James Fox saw that, and now he's beginning to gap the rest of the drivers here. But Remy Boss has his 13-second lead. Unless something catastrophic were to happen these final 2 laps, he just wants to get clean corners for these final 2 laps. There's that gap James Fox has built. Looks like he has really turned it up here in this final lap, or final laps, I should say.
Looks like he was waiting to turn up the wick here the minute he saw the 2-minute warning on track. Akers down to P4, now has to duke it out with Brolsman for that bottom step on the podium. What's the strat here for Blue in P5? Do you go at it and try and split the difference out on track, or do you just wait in the wings, grab the popcorn, let the 2 behind battle, and pick up whoever gets left offline? White flag out here, 2:06 micro final. All the way down to the paint. Brolsman trying to defend from Akers. Blue to the outside now as Akers tries to go down low with him. Now Brolsman goes fully wide into that corner. Shark fin has shocked us with how much it's been an overtaking opportunity. Won't be the case this time for Akers. Brolsman still out in front. For a kid who I don't think has been P3 at all this weekend. He's hanging on to it. Here comes Akers down low into the scoreboard corner. Gets himself up into P3. Blue trying to go with him. Not enough momentum there coming out of the scoreboard corner. Akers in that black and white GFC locked into P3 for the time being. As we head into the cell tower for the final time, this has given James Fox an opportunity to run away with it for P2. But coming out of the cell tower into the 90s for the final time, the Ohio native has not picked up a regional win in his career. That changes right here, right now. The boss man, Remy Boss, victorious in 2:06 micro. And further back, who's out in front? Akers loses the spot. Brolsman back up into P3. Nearly some overlap there into 15. 16 will get him fully ahead. Fox in P2. And Brolsman for Kart Republic on the bottom step of the podium.
Yeah, you saw one driver pounding the steering wheel. Just frustration, wasn't able to make a couple more passes there on the final corners. But what a performance by Remy Boss, not from Indiana, but as you mentioned, nearby Ohio. So not too far of a drive for them to get back home with that trophy tonight. But Remy Boss with a 14-second lead over James Fox. James Fox, no reason to hold his head down. He had strong all weekend, was still able to get that second place position. He battled back, of course. He was as far back as 5th during this race, and you can see the rest of our finishing order.
Both our youngest and oldest podiums now checked off the docket. Go to the middle of the spectrum here. Briggs 206 Senior coming up, round number 1 of the Apex Midwest Division here on Kart Chaser.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Because Kyle Cuthbertson doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America, use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
Oh, yes. 39 carts. 3 trophies to give away. Briggs 206 senior main. Chris McKeithen on the pole position for Coyote. Mark Steele for Wells Steel Motorsports on P2. Will Wilkie, Holden Harder, Henry Wheelie, Ryan Curl, Levi Getz, Addison Iannello, Leighton Mull, Sam Tutwiler, your top 10. Looking a little bit further back, Emily DeMaster, Carter Kilgo, Aiden Malenko, Mason
Carter.
Surgener, Alex Zakulcio, Nasuke Yoshikawa, Randall Potter, Jack Sutton, Ryan Sakina, and Adam Kay. Your top 20 here, Brett.
Big field of cars, as I believe we have another page to show you. Sawyer St. Clair, Beckman Lewis, Owen Mall, Jack Kina, Colton Kelly, Connor Halls, Keelan Weiss, Cam Burris, Michael Taylor, and Layden Ashcraft. Round out your top 30 for Briggs Senior Main.
One more page here. Nick Kiefer, Bartosz Bazinski, Scott Kielman, Brant Hutchins, Clay O'Brien, Nolan Holiday, Brady Eichhoff, Ryan Rea, and Jerry Foundry. Your field of 39. Pandry, out with technical issues. Not sure if he was able to get back on track. I know he crashed halfway through that pre-final. What a story it's been so far for Mark Steele, driving from the very back of the pack, essentially, to get into this mix. But it has been Chris McKeithen out in front nearly all weekend long. Not necessarily at the point, but certainly battling for it. But you've got some big names further back in the mix. Carter Kilgo, Jack Sutton, and company. Who's going to come out on top? 39 karts bringing us to the green flag. We've got it. Let's go racing for the 206 senior main event. Good start down low. Where does Steele end up as they thunder through I-70 for the first time? One kart off will rejoin the 906. We stay in one piece through the shark fin for the maiden time. It's the Coyote of McKeithen. We'll lead him there. Here's a look to the inside. That might be Steele. Going down low, it is. And the big guy in the 394 leading us to green. McKeithen goes off. Oh my goodness.
A disaster. He's going to go all the way back, I think, to almost the outside of the top 30. Wow. That's not what you want to do on one of these starts. Heartbreaker in the finals, as you can see, the battle rages on for the lead. We also had Sam Tutwiler. He started back in 10th. He was strong all of yesterday. So we'll see if he's able to put anything together today. But what a performance by Mark Steele out in front here. As you can see, the signal to stay in line. But Mark Steele has been probably the driver that's passed the most karts all weekend long, and he's finally passed enough to be able to take the lead and lead lap 1.
Stablemate right behind him in the form of Holden Harder, as Steele will indeed be the first one to the line. 2 positions gained for Ryan Curl, who has been another very incognito driver this entire weekend. 3rd place, red and white kart 992, just behind Will Wilkie. As we walk you through the field, only a handful of karts really lost to this point. Jerry Fandry all the way up 13 positions in the whole shot, finds his way up into P26. That slightly battered, slightly bruised PB kart. But again, just showing you how bunched up this field still truly is at this point. Couple of other big movers. Potter up 3, Mole dropping 3, Carter Kilgo up a pair. Earl, who had a very good pre-final, goes from P6 to P4. And crucially, Holden Harder still right to the bumper of team boss Mark Steele.
And we saw Christopher McKeithen go off course. Goes from 2nd to 29th currently. So heartbreaker, and I think he's obviously going to be out of contention for the win. You hate to see that on the start, but that's the cost of having 30-plus karts in this division this weekend. A good problem to have if you're the series directors. As they come back around, Mark Steele continues to lead, and they're trying to gap themselves. Mark Steele and Holden Harder are trying to gap themselves from the rest of this pack, but they're not going to let them get away easily.
Ryan Curl getting mothballed there as a result, drops back to P11. Here comes Henry Wheeler now. The Burrell Art, that Germany flag in P3. Will Wilkie just behind in the 394. Wheeler purple last time by a 123.095. Started this race in P5, just tiptoeing now into the picture. Again, McKeithen losing the lead, but again, still plenty of time. We'll see where he can potentially crawl back from. Now the top Coyote. Levi gets just in front of teammate Addison Iannello. That's P5 and 6 out on track. Teammate, this could be a very big factor right now. When you've got 3 Steele drivers at the sharp end of the field, how much are they going to be playing rear gunner for one another? This could be a very huge factor right now in Steele Motorsports and Stealth versus Coyote. In this decade, you might argue one of the biggest rivalries, not just in grassroots karting, but in American karting, period. Lap number 3 in the books. Mark Steele, still your leader. Addison Iannello going purple, 122 even. Any takers trying to make a move. Iannello with a peak now down low, trying to take P4 from Will Wilkie. Will get there. Wheeler dropping a corner into the grass. A couple more further back. And look at this, Sam Tutwiler, I think, getting back into the picture. Wheeler making the move for P2 will clear. Holden Harder for second. Point forward now, they want to try and close that gap as quick as possible. Get nose to the steel bumper. The metal bumper, I should say, of the 394.
You mentioned Sam Tutwiler. I think he has a little bit of something to prove after starting in 10th position and dominating the weekend so far. He is in this lead pack. I believe he may be in 5th. As you can see, they still jockeying for position back there. But you mentioned Mark Steele and Steele Motorsport. Do you want to pass your boss, or do you let him go on to win the event? But he's led every lap so far, and it looks like he's trying to gap. They're trying to top two are trying to gap themselves from the rest of the field, but we haven't been able to see any gaps form among the top 7. Very similar to what we saw in the pre-final.
Mark is absolutely at an age where he could go and run in Masters. And I don't mean that as an offense. I mean that so that I can hand him all the flowers in that he is running with a far younger group of karters right now and is absolutely not just hanging on with them. He is setting the tone for what is now the first half of this entire 206 senior main event. And he's got plenty of friends just behind now in the form of Henry Wheeler. He's lost a couple. Holden Harder, Will Wilkie dropping back, and now that Coyote of Iannello starting to work a little bit further in. Another MCC full-time driver, Addy in the 946, trying to bring the fight to those two stealth karts in front. A little bit further back here, we're checking in. Randall Potter, Emily DeMaster, Carter Kilgo getting a handful of spots, P12 to P10. The front Levi gets, and that is Sam Tutwiler in the middle there. Fastest man on track, the 990, P6 overall.
And you can see there's our lead duo, nose to tail. But again, I'm sorry, that is not our lead duo. That's farther back in the pack, but this is very similar to what we saw in the pre-final. 2 distinct packs, but no one really able to break away like what we just saw in our previous division with the kids class. As you can see, they are nose to tail. No one wants to really get away. No one wants to make a pass early on, but as we've been talking about all day, wait for the double sticks to come out when the clock expires. I think that's when things, if they haven't gotten crazy already in the back of the pack, as you see one driver off slightly, they're going to get only more intense as the race begins to click down here in the senior division.
Randall Potter, Emily DeMaster, Levi Getz on your screen right now, trying to join that massive doghouse of karts a little bit further up. Harder, Tutwiler, Wilkie, and company, as they have all closed that door, moved to the inside here. One of the steel machines, I believe, Will Wilkie in the 84, trying to get that move, but Sam Tutwiler up 5 positions is absolutely in the mix to this point. Now Holden Harder back in the mix in the 975, P4 to the bumper. Just behind you still see DeMaster and Potter trying to go bumper to bumper right now. These guys continue to kind of go at it and squabble up further back. That's giving them a fighting chance, maybe joining the fray further up. Looking at your movers here, Addison Iannello up 4, Wheeler up 3, Potter up an impressive 8. Jerry Fandery continuing to move forward, 20 positions gained right now, playing himself firmly within top 15. Wheeler dropping back a handful of spots, I believe. No, Wheeler to the point, as Mark Steele drops down to P3. Addison Iannello up into P2 as we mosey on into the shark fin.
And Tutwiler in 4th was able to score the fastest lap that time, as now they're really racing for the lead here, and they haven't gotten the 2-lap to go signal. They're still 3 minutes away, but you can see again, top 7 can throw a blanket over them. We were expecting this after what we saw in the pre-final. Really intense racing. It's almost a mind game as well, because you have to wonder to yourself, if you're back in 7th, when do you make the move? And if you're in the lead, you're wondering, when are they going to make the move as they continue to snake their way through this infield section?
Oh, a little bit of a wiggle on exit there. I'm not sure if Wheeler dropped a corner in the grass. Fortunately, team boss Mark Steele able to catch and still push him and straighten him back out. You could not ask for a more diverse... Oh, trouble! One of the Burrells, the 921. That might have been Cam Burris, I think, involved. One of the blue cards, I think. That might have been Sawyer St. Clair. No, Keelan Weiss. But here we go, 2.5 minutes. You could not ask for a more diverse top three. A veteran, Carter and team owner, an active professional driver now racing in the Porsche Carrera Cup in Europe. A girl fresh out of high school trying to launch her professional motorsports career outside of karting as well. Addison Iannello now leading this field and putting Coyote out in front for the first time. But look at this. Now P4, Sam Tutwiler, fastest man on track, is on the scene. 90 seconds to go, then the Twin Sticks coming out. Our gas is as good as yours.
Where did Iannello come from? +7 positions. Oh, we have a cart off. That is the 918.
That's a hub gone. I think that's the wheel off.
So that was Michael Taylor back in 34th, I believe. You see them taking that cart off the track. And our lead four are continuing to mosey around the track, snake around the track as there's more trouble in the back of the pack, but no trouble for these lead four. This race is far from over. Like you said, Jackson, anyone's guess who can take this win as they flash across the line one more time. We're just waiting to see when those moves are going to be made. Here's a move right now.
Wheeler to the inside. Mark Steele going to go with him. Door is open. Here comes King Tut. Damn, Tutwiler trying to get to the bottom step of the podium. Iannello fighting. Holton Harder further back in the 975. Iannello trying to hang on to the outside. Can she get it? On the exit of the shark fin, she does, and is able to slot back in P4. Harder immediately swings back, though, and seals that deal for P4. Iannello in just a sequence of corners. P1 to P5, but now another new leader, Henry Wheeler, to the lead.
They're going to get the 2 to go when they come back around to the start-finish line, and I think they know the laps are winding down as they continue to battle for the lead up here. The top three, you can see on your screen right there. They continue to snake their way through this infield section. You can see them pointing, stay in line. I think these top three now want to try and make a gap between them and fourth place position, but we haven't seen really anyone able to shake off the top 7. As you can take a look back in the mid-pack, I guess you would say, as they're getting the 2 to go as they come around this final corner. They got the 2 to go. Here are your leaders trying to break away the top 3.
Into I-70 for the penultimate time. That was a tear-off being removed there from Sam Tutwiler in the number 3. Gotta imagine what's going on underneath the helmet of the 990 right now. Again, do you potentially try and move aside Mark Steele, bring the fight to Henry Wheeler? Do you wait for them to battle? Again, making that move for P2 could risk potentially separating the two of you from the leader, giving Wheeler a chance to break away. So Sam Tutt might have no opportunity. Be forced to just watch this battle out in front. Holton Harder, do not count him out as well, is right in the mix. Addison Iannello within drafting distance as well. But as it stands, as we work our way through Cell Tower, it's the Three Kings trying to claim their spot on the throne here at Newcastle. Point forward. We're going to go for it one more time here. Here they go into the 90s.
Yeah, I was laughing because you could see that the frantic signal of staying in line there by Mark Steele, and what a drive by Sam Tutwiler coming back from 10th position. Now he's in 3rd position, and he has a chance to take home this win as they are on the white flag lap. Do they stay in line, or is someone going to try and make a move on this final lap for against Henry Wheeler? I'm excited to see these final couple corners.
Your reigning 206 senior champ from the Southeast trying to kick his Midwest campaign off with another victory. Mark Steele, Sam Tutwiler, an incredible recovery drive from both of these gentlemen. Mark Steele in the macro, Sam Tutwiler 7 positions in this race alone to get him into the conversation. Second shark fin. We'll swing it right through green corner, up and over the hill and back into the cell tower. Last big overtaking opportunity right here on the binders, not able to get it done. This could be huge for Henry Wheeler with this exit and how much speed you can carry through the 90s. We've seen it earlier on. Wheeler not out of the woods yet, but just a couple more corners through the short chute. What's the move going to be? Mark Steele trying to claim victory for the first time in 2026. Wheeler trying to get his first one since a return from Europe. 15 and 16 for the final time. Looking to make it a steal. 1-2. Out of turn number 6, Henry Wheeler going to win in 206 senior.
I know Mark Steele wanted that win, but he looked just content and is happy to see Henry Wheeler take that win as well. You saw his hands come up in second place. So what a performance by Henry Wheeler and Mark Steele. Sam Tutwiler fighting back for third place after that issue in the pre-final, starting in the 10th position, but good race there towards that. Good clean race towards the end. Good to see that here in the senior main. Didn't expect anything less. Clean racing there.
Again, with so many Steele guys out in front, I don't think Mark wanted to even steal it from Henry at that point. I think he was more than content with running in P2 and pushing one of his star drivers to victory for the first time this season here at Newcastle. What a phenomenal battle, though, at the tail end, and still hats off to Sam Tutwiler. Holden Harder, Addison Iannello round out your top 5. Will Wilkie, Emily DeMaster, Chris McKeithen drops 7 positions, but is able to recover from being outside of the 20s to come home in P8. Ryan Curl, also a good recovery in P9. Aiden Lorenko in 10th. Jerry Fandry take about 28 positions gained. Great momentum as well for Beckham Lewis, up 10 spots. Agasa Yoshikawa, Mason Sergener, Ryan Sakino, Levi Getz, Alex Alicio, Carter Kilgo, Owen Mull, Thor St. Clair, Cam Burris rounding out your top half of the field. Step aside for just a moment when we return back to the cadets with 206 Mini.
Hi, I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital e-waivers, a proprietary timing and scoring software, incident management, automated points tabulation, tire and barcode scanning. We even have our own mobile timing app and rental kart activity management software. If you're looking to consolidate your motorsports software solutions, reach out to us at alphatiming.co.uk.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go, come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico, it's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. Today, I'm gonna show you how to protect those ribs in the seat. We're doing core. Exercise number 1 is the bench leg raise. Controlled all the way down, full range of motion. Make sure you pick up that tailbone off the pad. Coming down, controlling. Great for the lower abdomen area and obliques. Floor slider mountain climbers, exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, the plate-loaded decline bench sit-up. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chris G Coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do.
Macron Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart, it's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macronmotorsports.net.
Back to the cadets for the Briggs Mini Main. We've got one card off already. That is one of the MPGs, I believe. That's Evan Leisha, I think, in the 107. I need to double check that. It is. Oh my goodness, the driver was supposed to be on the outside of the front row, already having issues. And unfortunately, his Sunday morning gonna end before it even truly began. Looks like they're trying to get him going again there. Pull of the ripcord. We'll slowly get away. He might be nursing the same issues he had already. Regardless, Hayden Lawson on pole, Anderson Hemphill, Ruben Greer, Ryan Hall, Caden Terreno, Logan Pollock, Joseph Panico, Theo Stephens, and Robbie Noe rounding out your top 10. Leish was looking so strong throughout this weekend. And unfortunately for him, chances of victory here at Newcastle go up in flames before he even gets the opportunity to reach the commitment cone that will allow Ruben Greer in the 120 new gen, I think, to slot in on the outside. Watch out for Anderson Hempel, I would say. Inside of row number 2 has been a very good place to be on these starts. Well, here we go. Coming outside of turn 16. Ready to go for 12 minutes and 2 laps. Lawson and Greer on the front row. New Gen versus Lawson. We've got the green for 206 Mini. Hemphill and Ryan Hall doing a great job there, pushing that inside line and helping it come to life. Greer moves back one kart really off further back. 181.
That's
Bo
Bo Laser.
Another big name further off. Oh my goodness. A lot of major contenders with drama to start us off here in the main event for Mini. Now looking further the field here. Panico and Pollock going at it for 7th and 8th. Now Ruben Greer tries to claw his way back into the mix.
And we've seen that first corner be an issue today with some of our top contenders, including Bo Laser right there going off and going straight to the back of the field. Christopher McKeithen did that in our previous race. He was able to get back up to, I believe, 8th position, but turn 1, lap 1 issues all weekend long. We'll see how it plays out the rest of this afternoon. As you can see, our leaders starting to sort out there, briefly gapping each other, but I think the rest of the pack, you can see they're snaking their way through. The rest of the pack, I think, is going to catch and close those gaps. They come around this final corner and complete lap number 1. As you can see, they are starting to form up and create one long group here on lap number 1.
Anderson Hemphill looking to the inside of I-70. Ryan Hall looking to go with him as Lawson gets washed up to the high line. Like Ruben Greer and the new gen able to provisionally get on the bottom step of the podium. No, Lawson slots in for P3. Now Logan Pollock in the 113. He's had a pretty quiet weekend to this point. Just behind there in the 113, Caden Torreno, Joseph Panico, Theo Stephens, Jackson McNeely, and Elam Stoner. Pretty much the top 12 or 13 within striking distance of the lead. To this point, Ryan Hall in the 109 Comp Kart getting a lot of help right now from Lawson. Now looks to the inside. Lawson back up into P2.
Great racing up here, great clean racing, still early on as they're all in that single file line, and as our leader is continuing to gap the other drivers, which is a little surprising to see, but I think they're gonna, you can see them already starting to tighten back up, accordion back up as they get together in that line, and I believe you'll see a good run coming down this front straightaway into corner number 1. You can see they are closing that gap as Anderson Hemphill continues to lead Hayden Lawson, the driver, in second. That's right on his bumper now as they head down into the first corner.
3 guys trying to break away.
Ooh.
Not on Ruben Greer and Logan Pollock's watch. One driver off further back, I think, coming out of I-70. But now Jackson Hemphill to the lead for the first time. Lawson trying to put the pressure on, though, to take that lead back in the 110. Fastest man on track, Caden Torreno behind the wheel of that Sodi machine. 123.293. 10th and change quicker. Then the guys in front get a little bit of help from Joseph Panico behind in that. What would we call that? I almost wanted to say rainbow colored, call it galaxy colored. 100 just further behind there. There we go. What would we call that, Brett?
I think galaxy is a good good term for it, because it's easy to spot as an announcer. As you can see, here's our lead duo. They've gapped the rest of the field, Hemphill and Lawson. So we'll see if these guys in 3rd through about 7th are able to get back in line and kind of do a similar thing to what we saw the last lap and get in line down this straightaway and then get a good run. But you can see this is the largest lead that Hemphill and Lawson have had early on in this race. I think over a second between them and 3rd through about 7th. We'll see if these guys want to work together or not, but you can see some passes being made. That's not going to help them catch the lead duo.
In Torreno under fire now as that comp kart of Ryan Hall is able to now build that gap for P6 just in front. Ruben Greer, Logan Pollock continue to go at it. Good exit for Panico now, gets all over the rear bumper of the Sodi in front. Looking at it, I think Panico also has a, that might be a McLaren replica suit he's working with as well. Cool looking go-kart, cool looking suit. Makes it easy for us in the broadcast booth. We will absolutely take it for the kids sitting in P7. Logan Pollock, though, great drive from him so far. Behind the wheel of that red and orange Kart Republic has not been on form right now in the wet. Yesterday was not looking like he would be able to put a drive together for the podium. Up 4 positions from the start right now is the front of this freight train that is battling it out that bottom step on the podium.
Yeah, if you're Pollock, I think you want to have the guys behind you stay in line, and you want to hope that maybe Hemphill and Lawson start turning it up for late. And as soon as I say that, they're looking like they're going to freight train Pollock down the front stretch. He's going to lose at least 2 positions here, possibly 3.
Good heads-up driving there from Ryan Hall. Saw the move Ruben Greer was making and wanted to go even deeper into the corner. Gets that kart up. Ooh, near contact there between Pollock and Hall. Excuse me, Pollock and Torreno. As now Ruben Greer gets on through there for P5. These guys are making costly decisions on track right now. Again, still at an age where we're just really learning to go bumper to bumper like what you're seeing on screen right now. Lawson giving that shove to Anderson Hemphill in the 124. They have built that gap to about 1.5 seconds. Fastest lap last time by was set by Hayden, 121.829. As it stands, nearly half a second quicker from that lap alone, Brett.
But just keep in mind, as soon as these two, if they do decide to start dicing it up, maybe with 2 to go, it won't take long for this second group to catch them if this second group decides to stay in line as well when they see the 2 to go. So a lot of mind games, a lot of things to consider as they come around here, clicking off another lap with 5 minutes left on the clock, 5 minutes plus 2 laps. But as we saw before, they decide to get out of line and make some passes here down the straightaway into the first turn there. A little bit of contact and one driver slightly off there as they continue down through this infield section.
These guys got to be careful with that curb entry of the shark fin, because I am waiting for a driver to take too much, have the cart kind of get spat out middle of the track, and then collect the driver in the process. These kids are monster trucking it on corner entry there. Seeing a great example from Caden Taranko. They are calm and collected out in front, though, as Anderson Hemphill now goes quickest. Last time by 121.417 for Hemphill and Lawson, 122.168 for Ryan Hull. So about half a second a lap now, the difference, as those two have really turned the dial up. 2.5 seconds now separating both of them from Hemphill and Lawson. Good exit here further back. 44 of Lincoln Wiley. Battle just on the outside of the top 10. McAllen, Schlauback, and Chase Call we're seeing on track here.
Yeah, our leaders of Anderson Hemphill and Hayden Lawson picking it up and laying it down. They just crossed the line. You can see this is how far the pack has spread out. They're coming off the final quarter now and just crossing the line. So we have distinct packs throughout the field. You can see them on your screen there. You just saw them through the bottom of your screen. This is the 152 of the 11th place driver with Lincoln Wiley behind Dylan Goddard. So this is just outside the top 10 that we're just looking at as they continue through the infield section here at Newcastle Motorsports Park.
Another comp cart a little bit further back. Theo Stephens behind the wheel of the 174. Willem Stoner just behind. That might be a Coyote. Is the Comet 141 just behind Given Chase. In battle right now for P8 and 9. Again, very similar to what we would have, what we normally expect from this 206 package. Very easy to find a dance partner and find someone you can work with in terms of going bumper to bumper. These two gonna try and work together a little bit more to catch these guys right now. Taruno with a peek to the inside of Panico, not able to get there just yet. Some really good driving from Ruben Greer here under pressure. He's holding 4 of some of the best 206 drivers in this age group at bay. He's done so for about 3 or 4 laps in succession here.
Yeah, first and second now have a 5.5 second lead over this pack that you see on your screen. It looks like they're staying in line, but they're not able to close the gap at all. So it looks like unless the leaders start mixing it up that you just saw them flash by there, this is going to be the battle for the 3rd position. As you can see now, they're starting to get a little bit broken apart, these 5 carts. So we'll see how it plays out. But you can see after they come off the corner, looks like strong run there for, I believe that was Panico that had a strong run off the corner there. But our leaders still nose to tail, Hemphill and Lawson, as they're coming around. It looks like they're probably going to have 3 laps to go because we have 1 minute left on the clock when they cross the start-finish line.
Greer coming off a very good run in Apex Southeast to get his racing season started. Has done a handful of stuff as well, doing 4-cycle stuff. I know at Music City. Track just reopening out in Tennessee, but really good driving from him. Again, no stranger to this style of racing. Has done some 2-stroke stuff as well in Mini Swift, but is definitely more comfortable doing the 4-stroke stuff. Is comfortable with this style of racing. It's comfortable coexisting A lot of very aggressive drivers out on track. These guys have been really, really tame, though, for the back half of this race. They were reshuffling a lot to get us started. But as it stands right now, for the most part, it has been this order. Greer, Hall, Panico, Bruno, and Pollock. Checking a little bit further back, as looks like Wiley and company has found company. The 152 of Dallenbach, Goodard, and Call. Jason, as well, Jackson, McNeely in the 158, just a tad further back. Here we go, 12 minutes of racing down, 2 laps to go. Hemphill essentially out in front from the get-go. This could be the point where that changes. Twin Sticks out this time by, and 2 laps to go. What's the move going to be from Anderson Hemphill? No defense. Into I-70.
Oh.
Ooh, Lawson a little bit wide there. Dropped a tire in the grass. You can see the dust kick up. That actually gives Hemphill a little bit of breathing room here, Brett.
I was going to say, you can see how much speed that scrubbed off, just getting 2 tires briefly off into the dirt. So Hemphill is able to maybe a 3 kart length, 4 kart length gap here with 2 laps to go. So Lawson's going to have to put together some awesome laps, perfect corners this final lap and a half if he wants to catch back up, I believe, to that lead. And I believe this is that second pack, 3rd through about 7th. I think the action's going to be turned up here now that they saw that we only have 2 laps to go. Now is the time to make your moves if you want to get onto that podium position, if you are in this second pack here, which is being led by the 120 right now of Ruben Greer.
That gap from Greer to Lawson shortening from 8.3 to 7.8 this lap, but it is far too little, far too late for that remainder of the field. As Hall, Taruno and company going to try and close that gap, the new gen machine, and get on the bottom step of the podium. The top 2, though, up for debate still. White flag here for the 206 Mini. Lawson going to try to go the long way around into I-70. Gets back in line. First time we've really seen Lawson turn up the wick. Overdrove it into I-70 a lap ago, but now finds himself right on the tracks of that bright blue 124 right in front. Lawson looking for victory here for the first time in Apex. Trying the crossover out of the scoreboard. It'll be the long way around, working over the hill through the second shark fin, back on the acres. Lawson just still looking for that final opportunity. Had a good run. Hemphill shut the door, though, as we come out of the green corner, back over the hill, and onto the acres in turn 11 at Cell Tower. And again, we've seen this a handful of times, specifically in this chassis size. With this gap of karts, this could very well be down to the very last handful of corners. Out of the short chute into the 90s. Hemphill with a look over the shoulder. He knows Lawson is closing right in the tracks. Lawson finding as much momentum as possible in the 110, but it might not be enough. Monster exit, trying a late apex. It won't do. Anderson Hemphill taking victory here on Sunday in 206 Mini. Drag race further back. Ruben Greer hangs on to it. Will be on the bottom step of the podium. What a duel, what a battle, and what a victory here for Anderson Hemphill. He's victorious here at Newcastle.
Hayden Lawson tried his best in doing the outside line. Just didn't work out for him, but still able to finish in second place. What a great race for these minis. We said it all weekend. I said it all weekend. You know, sometimes this is some of the most exciting, I would call it super speedway style racing that we see with the setups under these karts. There's a look at your top 10. Lincoln Wiley coming in 10th position. Ryan Hall in 4th. Kaden Caruno, in the 5th position. Logan Pollock staying in 6th. Great racing by all these young drivers here.
For half of them, it is pack up, head home, and prepare for round 2, just a month away. For another good half of the field, it's get ready for Mini and Micro Swift action in the afternoon. We've got one more final coming up with 206 Senior taking the track right after this. AJ 316. AJ Stoner on pole here for the Briggs 206 Junior main event. Tegan Schneider firing off alongside him on row number 1. Jacob Scheibel and Danny Dragunov on row 2. William Richard, Chris Utzi, Ezekiel Height, Gavin Dyer, Ryder Thompson, and Evan Frey round out your top 10. I say it's the last 206 main event of the day, certainly not least. This was a heck of a show, Brett, in the pre-final.
Yeah, the pre-final, we saw them snaking their way. Huge pack of cars just battling out from the green straight through the checkered flag. Probably expecting much of the same here. Again, a little bit longer of a race, 12 minutes plus 2 laps, but they put on a heck of a show in the pre-final.
AJ Stoner, an unexpected drive from the rear end of the field here to make the front row of this main event. Again, with over 30 karts showing up to the main event, it could be anybody's game. Cooper Mole, a big name we were expecting to be a little bit further up, has just had so much bad luck behind the wheel of that Burrell, the 852 firing off in 13. Joseph Bayette as well, top 10 on Saturday. Hasn't been able to find anything yet, the 827 in P15. Rylan Gordon, Jet Price, Laney Thigpen, Tyler Nash, Turner and company. Walk you through the rest of them. Pick a driver, find a favorite. Time to go racing for 12 minutes and 2 laps. Schneider and Stoner on the inside, ready to go racing one more time in 206. We've got the green for Junior.
Oh my goodness!
Lock horns. Oh, big stack up further back. Oh, handful collected, 4 or 5. And I think that was Cooper Mole, certainly one of the Burrells, but numerous karts collected as a result. We've got a Coyote out in front, though. Tegan Schneider losing that position at the start. AJ Stoner leading him into scoreboard.
Yeah, I didn't mean to yell there, but I saw, I think briefly, a kart in the middle of the pack get all 4 wheels off the ground. I thought he may have turned over, but again, all day, especially with this many karts on the track, that first turn trying to funnel down off the front straightaway, it's so hard to get in line there and not hit bumpers or hit wheels with another driver. But these drivers out in front, things look a little bit orderly for now. I think they all want to get in line, maybe try and have a charge like we saw in the pre-final. There's the top 4, nose to tail. You can throw a blanket under them. Then there's the next 4. So very similar to what we saw in the pre-final early on here in the final for the juniors.
A lot of different factors that make that initial corner very sketchy, shall we say. It's the flick to the right, it's the different amount of lines you can take, and just that combo of the quick flick and then getting on the binders that makes that kart really want to get loose. Here we go, first lap under our belts. It will indeed be AJ Stoner first to the line. Tegan Schneider, Jacob Scheibel there, Ezekiel Height, business as usual just behind there, P4. What has become pretty much the main 4 here out in front. Ezekiel Height quickest, 128.166. But they've got no plans of working together. Height trying to make that move on Scheibel, working through the green corner. Back half of the shark fin, can't get there, and immediately Dragunov, Richard, Utzi, and Dyer join the mix.
Based off of what we saw in the pre-final, I don't expect us to see anyone go out to a single kart lead or even maybe a double kart lead as they continue to make passes here. Like you said, Jackson, no one willing to work together early on in this event. It's gloves off. They know this is the final. They know they got to make the moves now. They want that trophy at the end of the day.
Tegan Schneider back to the point. Scheibel and Height cycling Stoner all the way back to 4. I think maybe even further back, because Dragunov now just behind that green helmet, the new gen Motorsports machine. New fastest lap, Carson Benjamin in P10, as these guys are essentially bumper to bumper all the way back to P12 or P13. Again, these guys are trying so hard from 4th on back to just go bumper to bumper to build that gap, build a little bit of insurance, and at least, you know, split the field a little bit. But it's moves like that that are making that pretty difficult. Ezekiel Height to the inside gets P2. Dragunov nearly off into the grass. Here comes Schneider and Stoner once again. William Richard into the fray for the first time. One ramping up
Oh.
fully onto the bumper of another. Oh my goodness. They're able to back out of it. Who on earth went Mario Kart Double Dash there going up and over the hill? That was phenomenal. Not the first time we've seen guys go bumper to bumper like that, but very rarely do we see both drivers able to carry on after ramping over one another. Case in point, though, they're able to get back up to full song.
Yeah, that was crazy. It almost was like the other kart was towing the other. And you can see what that's done is we have a 2-kart breakaway for the lead. What I was going to say was when you saw someone get out of line, it just makes the pack come together. And it was just a mess there for a while. Now it looks like they've got it sorted out. And now you have to wonder if they all work together, are they going to be able to catch these 2 karts that are out in the lead? That is Schneider and Height that have that slight lead. Look at them. Helmets down, working together. They want to try and gap themselves from the rest of this pack, but it's going to be a tall order because these guys look like they want to work together as well.
Schneider with the pink helmet. It's a slot machine on the chin with 777s. He's been creating his luck all weekend. Another issue for one of the new gen karts. Rolling through, cutting the course. That might have been Carson Benjamin. I'm not sure. We'll double check, but 7 minutes on the clock. And Tegan Schneider, still your leader. He's been creating his own luck all weekend long. It's made a 2-kart breakaway with himself and Ezekiel Height. And for William Richard, AJ Stoner, Chris Yutzi, Gavin Dyer, and Carson Benjamin further back, it is the forced group project now of going bumper to bumper and trying to close that gap. It was just under a second last time by. It'll certainly be bigger this time.
Yeah, this is when I think you start to see maybe some hand signals from this second group. And they only got 3 karts really with them now, so we'll see if they're able to put anything together. But again, it's going to be difficult if the 2 leaders of Schneider and Height continue to go bumper to bumper. We'll see what the gap is this time between them. It's over a second. So as you've been mentioning all day, Jackson, they're not within the drafting distance, we don't believe, of Schneider and Height, but they're still continuing to stay in line. Then you have this battle behind them. I think they hope that maybe these guys would stay in line and they could get one long train of karts. But we'll see how it all plays out as we still have 6 minutes left on the clock plus those 2 laps. There's one of those hand signals, I believe, right there.
Again, just the simple message of 1, use your head, 2, get on my bumper. We got to get out of here. If we keep going side by side, we saw the carnage that happened turn 1, lap 1, but we can work together. We can get in the draft and we can make a run for the front of the field. 1.2 seconds the gap last time by. You know what? Not seeing a lot of moves right now further back. It's very possible that these 3 you're seeing right now, the pair of Coyotes, William Richard, AJ Stoner, that lone steel machine, Chris Yutzi, could absolutely close that gap. Schneider and Height out in front. But again, for Schneider and Height, they've been on this program all weekend long. They've been teammates for quite some time. They know exactly what to do to build that gap. What's it looking like this time? 1.4 seconds. And it was Gavin Dyer actually going for that shortcut last time around, the 8:05. He'll come back out in P11 now. Get through the field.
Yeah, I almost thought the 805 was going to turn over. He was fully on 2 wheels for a little bit there. But here is that second pack. Again, as you mentioned, they have not been able to close the gap. They've kind of holding steady, losing slightly lap per lap. So what they hope is that for some reason Ezekiel Height gets impatient and starts racing with Tegan Schneider. But I don't believe, based off of what we've seen all weekend long, I don't think that's going to happen until at least the final lap. Because you can see they are working together beautifully with just nose to tail down the straightaways, a little bit of a gap through the corners, but they're able to really push each other when they get through the straight section of the course.
Last lap by from Tegan Schneider, 123.217. AJ Stoner took the lead of that duet over William Richard. Did a 123.29. Just under a tenth separating them. Almost dead even on pace. See how it's looking as they come out of turn 13 this time. Stoner not wanting William Richard to take the lead again. He thinks he's got the pace behind the wheel of the 814, and that gap is indeed closing. Now just a hair over a second between the two of them. If they stay on the program, they're able to cover from any fire behind. This could indeed become a 5-kart fight in just a couple of corners. But again, it's going to take that collaboration of everyone behind. Daniel Dragunov, Jacob Scheibel, who goes quickest again with a 122.656. Ryland Gordon, who again has a lot of anxiety, was so strong in the wet yesterday, but that LN kart has been far from the front on Sunday. Ooh, a little bit of a jump. That's Dragunov leading Scheibel and Gordon. As actually Ryder Thompson making that move on Ryland Gordon for P8. But the melee continuing here in the mid-pack.
If we get some more cars to join the lead duo, we are going to have ourselves a heck of a final couple laps. As I believe, is that the lead duo there? Yes, it is. So that's going to give the second and third and fourth, Stoner and Richard. It looks like a pretty clean pass there. We're going to see if they've been able to close the gap because they're coming around to the line this time.
Oh yeah,
the eye test looks like they're definitely there.
0.689 the gap now. Stoner to Schneider. That move to get Zeke to the front of the field was a tad bit costly as well. But again, Height was sick of smelling the exhaust and wanted his own turn to put his nose in clean air. How much is Schneider going to help? Are they going to potentially swing back? It is absolutely now evolving into a quartet once again for the lead. But Daniel Dragunov, the lone new-gen machine, has been in the top 5 all race long. Got washed out to the high line in the opening lap, trying to work his way back into the mix. He's got 2 Coyotes behind, Jacob Scheibel, Chris Utzi, Ryland Gordon and company trying to get into the mix as well. Oh, look at this. The Coyotes are here. They're making the moves on Schneider, Stoner, and Richard to the inside. Schneider going to now become the meat of this sandwich, but crucially, AJ Stoner back up into P2.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a race now. You have to wonder, though, if Schneider, if he's lost the handling, because now it looks like he's going to go back to 4th position. Did he lose the handling on that kart, or is he maybe trying to save something for these final 3 laps? We're going to come around with 1 minute left on the clock, so this will be the 3 laps to go. They'll get the 2 next time by. But you can see Height and Stoner.
Schneider here.
Height and Stoner are our lead duo, and you can see Richard and Schneider are going to try and work together and catch back up. But like I said, we definitely have ourselves a race here because it looks like the pack is starting to form up once again, about 1st through 6th, all on your screen.
Look at this, Dragunov in the new gen trying to make that move on the Steel Motorsports driver. Jacob Scheibel now offline and will fall further back. Or excuse me, Chris Yauzi going offline. So hard to tell when you have 2 major teams going at it here at the sharp end of the field. But again, that lone new gen, Daniel Dragunov, that kind of watermelon helmet, right? Green and red. Getting a little bit of help right now from William Richard just behind. Beg your pardon, Christopher Utzi and Ryland Gordon a little bit further back now. Again, 2-kart breakaway now, Height and Stoner. Now it's a 3-kart effort to try and get into this mix. 2 laps to go. 900-meter run out of turn 16 into I-70. What's the move going to be from AJ Stoner? Help or hurt the leader? No intentions yet. Into the kink, down to the inside. Dragunov trying to make that move for P3 on the inside of that Coyote of William Richard. Gets that done. Moves the new gen up into P3. Scheibel in P5. Chris Utzi going off a little bit further back in the 833. And now a little bit of defense from Ezekiel Height on the brakes. This has absolutely bunched it up. Brett, we've got a 5-kart battle for the lead.
This is exactly what we were expecting given the pre-final. 5 cars. Any one of them could win it. Daniel Dragunov in 3rd has the fastest time. He's got a solid kart under him. I believe now he's actually in 2nd, so excuse me, he's going to want to go for the lead. You can see the hand signals. Everyone wants to stay in line. not let our leader, Ezekiel Height, get too much of a gap, because they're going to come around and I believe get the white flag this time. So time is running out if they want to catch our leader, Ezekiel Height, but it looks like they are closing the gap with that draft.
But they are all working together. Richard sending the message, lock in, and Dragunov has absolutely accepted this. Look at this, right to the bumper of Ezekiel Height. This could be the run that potentially takes the lead away from the 84, who has been out in front all final long, all the way down to the paint. White flag out, last lap of the 2:06 final. Who's gonna make the move? Anybody gonna pop out here into I-70? William Richard gonna try the high line, maybe a crossover coming out of turn number 2, can't get there. Here comes Dragunov on the exit. Not able to get there, he's the loser now. Richard and Stoner going on through. Move for the lead, big send further back, Jacob Scheibel trying to get to the point, ramping over the curb. Daniel Dragunov going off nearly. One card off further back, I think William Richard, everybody into the mix, but a new Coyote out in front. William Richard now to the point as we head out towards the cell tower. This is a phenomenal battle, but unfortunately a handful starting to drop out. Who is still in the mix? Who can bring that fight to the Coyote? It is indeed the 884 of Ezekiel Height. Can he make that move on that Coyote out in front? Been consistently the fastest guy out on track all day long, and makes that move for the lead through turn number 12. 13 and 14. Trying to make that move back and potentially swing back once again. William Richard in the 887. Height in that murdered out black car. Last name on the front bumper. Here we go through the 90s one more time. Richard trying to make that move stick. Here comes the steal further down. Height with the drag race to the line. He'll take victory in the 2:06 main.
Pure chaos, that's all I can say that last lap. Wow. You hate to see, one of the drivers go off, but you knew that was coming on the final lap with 7 karts, I think, that were right there for the lead. Wow. What a great race. Love to see that.
Woo! Man, that was fun. Ezekiel Height getting his first major regional win of the season. Tegan Schneider just a hair over a 10th further back, able to recover and steal that P2 spot. Christopher Yutzi as well was waiting and decided to pounce, make that run. Rylan Gordon recovered for P5. AJ Stoner, Ryder Thompson, Gio Blackberry, Laney Tigpen, and Jacob Scheibel make up your top 10. Dragunov lost a ton in that final lap, ended up P11 as a result. That'll be all she wrote for the 2:06s. We'll step aside, grab some food. Be back for warm-up at around 12:50 local time. For warm-up for KA Masters, wheel-to-wheel racing begins with the pre-finals at 1:50 local track time. This hardworking car chaser and Apex crew, alongside my partner Brett Baldeck, I'm Jackson Lambros. We'll see you back here in about an hour.
This broadcast is the sole property of Kart Chaser Group, LLC. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the images, audio, or accounts of this event, in whole or in part, without the expressed written consent of Kart Chaser Group, LLC is strictly prohibited. Thanks for watching.